Yeah, you got directed. You got the vision.
Don't gas me up.
You gonna be bigger than Lil X. You see how his videos be popping, nigga.
But let me go ahead and address the chat, speak to some people, see how y'all doing. What's up, World Class? World Class knows I love him dearly.
If you're happy and you know it, clap hands. If you're happy and you know it, in your face, I really show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Okay. Hey, World Class.
Y'all, I'm weak. The World Class said women are more possessed is what it is. We are not possessed. Okay, maybe a little.
I see you, Mo. What up, TJ? Baby, I got something special for you later, TJ. What's up, World Class? Handsome man. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
The World Class.
You know and that's what I'm trying to understand, because They say looking for a good dude. They find one to do them dirty. But the moment someone see what you did to that particular dude, start to pick that dude and say, you know what? I'm going to replace the woman who did that and do better. All of a sudden, they want to go, no, you can't have him. You cannot. But you say she wasn't a good dude. So what's the problem now? Why the sudden want to sabotage the relationship?
The problem is that she know is what Trey was saying. The problem is that she know you ain't shit because you fucking with her.
You are watching a master at work.
Damn. Yeah.
Well, we might well end the show on that one there, fellas.
Yeah, Mike, y'all. Hey, fellas, it was good seeing y'all, man.
Only world class can do that. Only world class.
I'm gonna put that on the t-shirt.
Boom, the world class.
Seems as if you either win or crash the car trying to win.
Well, Dak, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff. I'm just a big, hairy American winning machine. If you ain't first, you're last. You know what I'm talking about? That phrase is trademark, not to use the position of Ricky Bobby.
He about to get this work. He about to get this work. He gonna get this work, nigga. I killed you. Hold up. He gonna get this work. Watch me work. We gonna get this work. We gonna get this work.
What up? Top of the morning. What it do? We up, man. I've been doing a lot of shit. A lot. I've been doing so much stuff, man. Fucking detox / fast situation. Got my fucking body and mind together, nigga. I'm just saying, you be thinking you straight, man. Then you do a detox, fast a little bit, man. Your brain just be on a whole different level, man. I feel like my body is crazy right now. I dropped a little bit of weight, but it was worth it. Like the time frame I've been because again, like I was at 255 pounds and dropped down under 2 probably like 9 years ago. So since I've been, smaller, I've been kind of hesitant to fast. You know what I mean? But I did a fast recently. I'm in a whole different space. Like I'm a whole different person from what I was years ago and shit. So body just feels amazing. Mind is clear, and that's what I've been doing. That's why I've been away. It was something else, man. So I had this video. Shout out to Quantum. She sent this to me like a minute ago. I actually got another video that I didn't put in the thumbnail or the description, and I'm gonna go over. So like I say, y'all see the title from a young lady named Terrica Lynn Smith. Was sold to a drug dealer by her mom. I think I can bring up the old video. Well, maybe I got the clip. Maybe I got the thumbnail. Oh, not done. Well, on this channel, I've done the video of the little girl that got sold by her mom at 5 years old for $200, and she got killed. We about to listen to this. A whole different side of it, where you have a young lady that obviously lived and turned her life around, which speaks to what I talked about before. I had a back and forth with the this idiot named Flora, who wanted to convince me that a child being raped, which is in both these situations that I covered before and I'm covering now, this is a child being raped, that somehow that's worse than being killed, when it's a success story. So an idiot like a Flora and one of these weak bitches that think killing a child is not that bad. Show me a success story of some of the children that you've aborted and see the great lives that they produced after you deleted them or killed them, or whoever killed them or deleted them. Let's see how that works. So you can see why it's bad. I don't understand the low level of thinking and morality that exists with the mindset of these chicks today that support that bullshit. But I can show you a success story now, like I'm going to today, of a girl that was raped when she was young, sold by her mother when she was young, and she turned her life around and she's changing the lives of other people. You can't show me that with an aborted baby or killed baby. So death is always the worst thing that can happen to somebody, because you steal time and life away from them. So this is gonna be a blind review because I've skimmed through it. We're gonna hear her story together. This was more along the lines of, you know, real estate development and shit like that. So I was gonna do a pre-record, but as I've been away for so long, I figured we just drop the link. It's a lot of stuff to address. A lot of stuff to address. So a lot. That's a lot of stuff going on, is really what I'm saying. I watched Lucky Stream the other day. I don't know if it was the day before yesterday, reviewing something they had on Hamp Channel about who's him. And that shit was interesting. So this could be one of those, you know, I'll drop the link a little later after I run through these two. I want to see this interview, see her explain her story, and it's something I gotta show you. This could be a channel you can day to day. So I'm with the shits. Yeah, that mucus, bro. You have a mucus in your body and don't know it. I'm drinking so much tea. You fucking feeling pulling mucus from fucking everywhere, my nigga. Gotta get some water, so. Let me pull her up. Got nothing wrong. Shit up. Get out. Here we go. Yeah, I got it. I had the wrong shit up. So that's what we done. Let me pull her screen up now. Yeah. Got me in the corner. Pull my thing up. Pause no diddy. I know I'll be just going live at like all these odd ass times, but schedule is changing my schedule. So we'll have more consistency. I really rather, like I said, I prefer to just get more into the pre-records, because I mean, when you work on your skills, you really want to create stories and get more in the creative aspect. Some limitations that you have with lives. Not that it really is a limitation. I mean, you can be as creative as you want, but it's just that with pre-records, there's a lot of things you can do. Documentaries, you know, the way you can edit it and shit. But yeah, this story is interesting to me. This is on the screen is the young lady that we're talking about during the interview. The name of the channel is Volt Empowers. So link to this is in the description, as I always do. Yeah, we're gonna get into it. It's not even a long interview total, so I do encourage people to go listen to it, especially if you're in real estate. She's well known in the real estate market, the coaching market, and like I said, it's good to see a success story come from it. But my mindset is this: how many Terrica Smiths do we have that don't have success stories? Like I said, since I've been in this space, I've had a lot of women tell me the same thing. A lot. I've expanded a long time. I'm 38. Got out the house and was out in these streets, really like meeting women at like 18 for real, 18, 19. Broke out of my norm and shit. I was the type of person if I ain't know you, I ain't going. I ain't going the type of club type. So I've heard this shit over and over and over and over and over again. It's normal to hear this specific thing, that their mother sold their vagina to men. Now, granted, I'm in the hood from Baltimore, you know what I mean? But it happens a lot, man. And These chicks is walking around hurt. They in your chat, hurt as fuck. They up on these panels, hurt as fuck. This is going on. But it's this thing where you just protect your fucking mom. Like, it's okay for your mom to abuse you and you can't embarrass her. Like, her embarrassment means more than your safety and your mental health. And I just don't understand that concept. I've never thought like that. I've never cared about my mother enough to think her abuse to me is more important than my safety. I've never thought that. But I watched it in my family. I watched them try to articulate it in another way, finesse it, narrative spin, and that's not it. These black mothers will put your children, put their children, your children at risk, and then cover the shit up. It's mind-boggling what happens. But they'll then be on a fucking, they'll then be on the in the salon chair, on these panels, on these podcasts, complaining about what niggas was doing. You know what I mean? And I don't understand. And I get all of a sudden they get amnesia on what they watch their mothers doing, what they be doing, in their homegirls. Yeah, let's get it. I'm gonna go back just like 5 seconds. Just to make sure.
Get a car. Guess what kind of car you getting with $5,000?
Yeah.
One that you're gonna need again come tax season.
Yeah.
So I was always in like catch up. So by the time I finished catching up in less than 2 weeks, I wonder what the statistics are for those who get tax returns. How long do they have it? Because everybody who gets that tax return is thinking, I got to go pay these people off. I got to go get out of this situation.
Yeah.
And then what happens? It come right back to you.
Yeah.
It's because it's a cycle that takes place. And so I was like, yo, I just have to take this money and go find a property. The funny thing is, I didn't know that I couldn't buy a property for $5,000. I was a real estate agent. I had no clue. I just knew I had $5,000.
So you had your real estate license at this point?
I had my real estate license.
Okay.
I got licensed back in 2006, early 2006.
So right after Hurricane Katrina.
Right after Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
I wasted no time.
Yeah.
Locking me in the city of New Orleans for 3 days. If you ever want to get rid of poverty or a mindset of poverty, lock me in that city. Okay.
Yeah.
Food stamps didn't work. Credit cards didn't work.
Yeah.
Nothing worked during Katrina. So imagine not having any resources and you see people pulling out guns on each other. Like, it's literally, to me, I thought it was the end of days. I thought the rapture came.
Yeah.
And I was going to hell.
Yeah.
That's honestly what I thought. I thought everybody else in the world was going through Hurricane Katrina with me.
Wow.
I didn't know y'all was in Atlanta chilling.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I was driving across the country, moving to Los Angeles.
Yeah, we was chilling out. We was cool. I wasn't even, niggas wasn't even affected at all. At all. I didn't even, you know what I mean? It was just them down there. And then I heard Sherelle and them tell their story. I was like, that's crazy. She says they getting lifted or whatever out their little area, and they seeing people cut grass and shit just over the water or over the bend and shit. That shit was crazy. So that's why niggas say that shit was set up on purpose.
Angeles during the middle of Hurricane Katrina.
I had no.
So yeah, so I just skimmed it to where I hear her introduce this part of the thing. So this is why we heard that a little bit. But shout out to them. Shout out to New Orleans, man. That shit was heavy.
Yeah, people were living.
I couldn't imagine Baltimore going through anything like that because it would be a bloodbath. Like niggas would just be dying, bro. Like it would be horrible.
Life,
Yeah.
So it takes me back to that point though. I started with my tax return because that's all I had.
Yeah.
Most people won't start because they keep thinking they need more. I
do want to get a lot into conversations like that because when it came to self-education, I did the same shit. I took my tax return from the job I was working at that time around when I was learning what I was learning, around 20. Shit. I mean, I don't know. I did it shit twice. I did it with my self-development and I did it with my own personal research. I bought law dictionaries. I bought self-development books. I bought books on finances, courses. I just spent every bit of money that I had on self-education. That's it. That's it. Every dollar I could spare. That's why in my life, between 20 and 30, I spent between 68 and 72% of my money that I earned, not my net, on self-education. Between 68 and 72%. trying to get to 72% on self-education. Every damn dime I could spare to learn. I spent a lot of money, a lot. And at fucking 22, I made $100,000 in fucking 4 months. So I took all that and put it in education, my own personal education. So these type of conversations I want to have, but like I said, we don't cook on top of dirt. I want to get into all of that, but there's so much bullshit happening in this space, and it happening with people. It's happening in this space. It's like, man, come on. Even yesterday, with the day before yesterday, this week, just put it this week, the dumb shit that's just spewing out of people's mouths like it's okay, and you having really despicable people in the space, and it's just like you cannot cook on top of dirt, bro. Can't cook on top of dirt. You can't build on a destroyed foundation. So that's why I address the stuff that I address, and this is one of them. In this community, we love this feel good music shit. We like all that other shit, the food. We like the playing, but we don't want to address the shit in the dark. We don't want to address how horrible these children are being treated, and that these children be treated horribly, and then 20 years pass, 30 years pass, and then you want to go, these niggas ain't shit. These bitches ain't shit. Well, they are a product of shit like this, my nigga. They are a product of shit like this. Sold to a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? So let's address the root cause. Then get into all these nuances.
I didn't have the privilege of thinking I needed more. I only had the privilege of using what I had.
Yeah.
It has to work or it has to work. So I have $5,000. Now guess what I'm looking for? Something for $5,000.
Yeah.
So when people tell me, oh, she talking that trash, there's no properties out there for $5,000. How do you know? When did you look?
Yeah.
Did you go search? Did you get out your backyard? Like, did you do those things? Because if you can't say, yes, I done those things, you can't tell me what you can't do.
And see, look, I love the mindset that she got, right? Show me the mindset of an aborted baby. Or one of these killed babies. Or Flora. Show me that. You can't show me that. This is why I talk about the shit that I talk about. Because you eliminate the opportunity for somebody to go through something like this and give you this mindset. And we're going to get into a story pretty soon. But this is what I'm saying. Like people, like you have a piece of shit like Flora that will get on the internet and be talking to other fucking females or other people and talk and try to criticize me and say that something's wrong with me because I know that deleting a fucking innocent child or a child dying is worse than a child just getting raped. Because this woman was raped as a child. And her mindset went from that at 5 years old being sold to a drug dealer to this. This. The way she's thinking now. That niggas that ain't been through a half of what she been through, I can't get them niggas to think like this. World-class fucking coaches can't get them to think like this. You understand?
My $5,000 took me from having 10 payday loans to 6 figures passively a month because I was a good steward of what God gave me. He gave me a little.
Hold on, because the mic about to get too hot, Terrica. Hold on. Listen, the mic
Terrica. Okay, I think it's that right.
about to get too hot over there. Listen.
Okay, yeah, I think this is where I heard her go into it. I'll ask her the question and we're about to get into that story.
You talk about, you talk about steward. Mm-hmm. If I'm faithful over just a few things.
Just a few. Just give me
a few.
Just give me a little.
And that's all you said was, I'm going to just be faithful over this. So you took it and got one property. Mm-hmm. And that property turned into.
I still have it.
That's the key. You know, I've been staring at this key the whole time. I was like, now what door does this open?
People who I helped acquire a real estate portfolio, he bought this for me for my birthday a year ago.
Wow.
And he put Huckleberry on it because I always call my very first property for $5,000 a Huckleberry. And so this is still the key that opens that door to that same Huckleberry that still pays me $550 every single month like clockwork when I have a tenant there. So it's literally the gift that continues giving.
Oh,
I don't know how I'm gonna get through this today, Terrica. I'm gonna take off running. I'm gonna take off running in this episode. I promise they're gonna say Brandi done got the spirit. Listen, so you take this and it starts you on this journey. So you obviously, because you're a good steward, and then you say, well, wait a minute.
I'm gonna touch on. It is Sunday, right? I can preach a little bit. Unica, what's going on? Next level, what up? Love to see you. She popped in low. She said she was listening. Appreciate you, love. Listen, that mindset, man, I love it, man. That mindset of just taking care of what you were given. That's what the foundation of my thinking is, man. Just it's called the law of use. I got that from a guy named Jim Rohn. Just the taking care of whatever you were given. Like they say in the Bible, too much is given, much is required. And if you take care of the little that you're given, the little bit of people you're given, with the little bit of talent that you're given. Like he asked, like Jim Rohn asked, if you can't be master over a few pennies, should we give you a fortune? And the answer is no. I don't understand what realm you put yourself in, what vibration or what frequency you're putting yourself on a deep level when you just take care of what you have. I don't stress health like I do because it's a fad. I understand that managing your body and your cells and your mind and your thinking is 1,000 times more powerful than managing money. And I've watched, and you can see, and you can get evidence from fucking here to Saturn on the value that can be produced when you manage money and resources correctly. When you do it with your body, when you become the wealth that you want, it's amazing. And I stress this over anything. That's why I hate these money conversations, these 6-figure this, 6-figure that. Nigga, manage a penny at an elite level. Manage a moment at an elite level. Manage a thought at an elite level. Treat each thought like, surround each thought with Fort Knox. Surround a penny with Fort Knox. You understand? That mindset. Treat everything like it's the only thing you got. Like, so I really love this mindset. I love this thought process, and I love to see another story where stewardship is her focus, and the results is she get to change people's lives by just taking care of what you got the way you have it. And I think if our people focus on that, stop worrying about what white people got, what Asian people got. Let's look at what we got and grow what we have. I think that, so I do love this mindset. Again, like I said, it is Sunday. We can't preach today, right? But that's the crazy said. Next level said it's more common than it should be. But there's a lot of drug addicts who said that shit. Yeah, man, it's way more common than what it should be. And like this lady up here on the screen, right? Her life may be good, right? She look decked out or whatever. We know how to put on a good facade. We know how to put on a good image. And we're so distracted by that ability, next level, that we let these stories just slide under the rug. We let these things just pass by. But in reality, that is distracting us from the real story. You know what I'm saying? Like that right there, what we're watching, that culture is more about how to look good. I want to hurry up and look good. I want to hurry up and sound good. And the problem is, it's not even the good, it's the hurry up. The hurry up part, that in the rush to be where to become what? You in a hurry for what? You want to get everywhere and get there and don't have you there. And we don't understand, like, as long as we can look good, fake it till you make it shit, it doesn't matter. You still got to sleep with you at the end of the day. You know you abandoned you. A lot of this abandonment issues that people have is because you abandoned you. You watch you value and prioritize other things other than you every day. And we have this as a habit, but it starts with stuff like this. When you've been sold as a child, when you've been abused as a child, when you watch people be sold and abused as a child, you push this stuff away because I can distract myself with all of these good things that feel good. The intent to distract yourself from abuse, the intent to distract yourself from stuff that hurt, that those bills gonna come regardless, man. You've seen it, you heard it, it happened. You are affected by it in some way, shape, or form. Irrespective of how strong you are, you're affected to some degree. So when you see these things, you start to train yourself to be neglectful. And neglect has a price. It got a bill. You got to pay it. So when we watch babies be abused, when we watch them be neglected, when we watch them be child alienated from their parents, when we watch them, their parents, father and mother, child alienate them from their other family members, from their other siblings, from their friends. It's not just child alienation of the father and child alienation of the mother. It's child alienation of other children, their cousins, their aunts, their uncles, that part. When you watch the mental abuse, a baby get cussed the fuck out. That bill comes due. That baby then goes on to be 20, 30 years old with this reality. And then we're in a relationship with them. Our dick inside of them. Well, for the women, the dick inside you. And this motherfucker's never been addressed. This is a victim. Spreading their victimhood here. Their victimhood has fucking substituted their childhood. So a big part of their human is missing. So they trying to fill their missing part with you. And food, and outfits, and cute, and fun, and YouTube, and lives, and super chats, and you can never fill that void. That part of your mother and father that you need, we can't fix it for you. I'm not your mom and your daddy. The only reason you exist is because of them two. And what they didn't do, you got to fix that. You understand? So yeah, we're gonna get into our story. But I do love this mindset that they're talking about. It's very important that you focus and dial in on what you do have and what you are. This is one of the first things I learned when my mentor was teaching me the law of attraction stuff. It's really called the law of attraction and repulsion. One of the main things I learned, he said, what you focus on expand, what you track increases. So when I thought about that, and I was thinking about the negative mentality and shit that he was explaining to me as well. You like stuff when you worried about what you don't have or what you can't do. See, if you don't have it, it doesn't exist. If you can't do it, it will never exist. So what you focus on expands. So what you do have has to shrink because what you don't have has to grow. Because it has to make room for what? The stuff that doesn't exist. So when you focus on negative stuff, when you focus on stuff that you don't want, what you don't want grows. What you do have has to shrink. What you do have has to be minimized. And I realized that. I was like, I got you. So that is the part and the problem with what we call fear. Is that you're investing more, right? Time, energy, money into what you don't want. So if I invest more in what I don't want and I don't invest, or I invest more in what I don't want than what I do want, what I'm going to get. If I spend more time in the grocery store in the aisles with the bad food than I do with the healthy food, what am I going to get? I'm going to get bad food results. More than likely, I'm increasing the chances of putting some of that shit in my cart. And I'm going to put that shit down my mouth. Yeah, I put bullshit in my mouth, bullshit going to come out. So let go.
I saw what I did here. Now let me see what I can do again.
Yes.
And so you start multiplying.
Yes. So I didn't understand the principle of leverage. This is the beautiful thing about being, kingdom filled, right? God will order your steps. You don't have to know A, B, C, and D. Most people won't move to B because they don't know what comes after to get to C.
Yeah.
So whenever I literally bought that property, I went to my banker with a 550 credit score.
Shut up.
550. And I told him, I said, hey, I have brought you a lot of investors over the years, and I would like to refinance this property, pledge it as collateral so I can try to go and buy more real estate. He said, Terrica, you should have been came to me. He sat there and
this is one of the things my mentor used to tell me. He said, credit is for broke people. So that she said cash is king. You don't give a fuck about that dumb shit. That credit score, that shit, don't let people know. We got a lot to learn. We're gonna learn it on this channel, okay? I'm gonna do as much as I can without fucking getting charged for financial advice. Shit not real, bro. Nobody give a fuck about that dumb shit. Next level said, if you notice, most people dealing with trauma rarely be alone. Always with people online, or just always being social. Because when they're alone, they have to face the trauma. That's a motherfucking fact, bro. Absolutely, positively a fact. I spend so much time alone because there's so much of me. See, this next level, this is the thing. When you're initiated, the ones that are learning private information, what you get is, what they always say is, you don't know what you don't know. But what I don't get that they don't ever say is, you don't know how much you already know. You don't know how right you already are. I.e., you don't even know what you're made of yet. You don't know how much of you there is. And there's so much to you that you haven't discovered. You're going to be busy You needed some time to actually get to know yourself. When you came here, when you were growing, you was in that room by yourself. You was in that womb by yourself. You had time to get to know you. That's how you grew. Yes. A lot of times you need to grow by yourself in the dark. You know what I mean?
And approved me on the spot.
A lot of that stuff about that credit stuff, bro, personal credit, you don't even want, which is called you being a surety. You don't want personal liability. There's no reason for that. There's a lot of stuff people got to learn. And I think I'm gonna have my sister come up here and explain it. See if when she's free, so we can be on the same page and move forward. How we should operate going forward in 2024.
On the spot, he had the power to approve me in his pen. If I would have never taken that step to go to him and say, look, I know on paper I don't look credit worthy, but I promise you I'll pay back this loan. I will go homeless to pay back this loan to you. All I had to do was open up my mouth and ask. Most people don't have because they don't know how to ask. They prideful.
Yeah.
I went and sat in front of that white man with a 550 credit score, not knowing how to fill out a PFS, a personal financial statement. He took me by the hand and say, let me show you how to fill this out. Because when you become a millionaire, you're going to need to know how to do this.
Wow.
Now I look at that every 30 days.
Listen, when I start getting chills in the first 15, okay, we just in the first 15. I done got chills 2 times already, Terrica, okay?
Here we go. Now I remember this part. This is when she gets into the question.
I love this because I think that so often we miss the mark. So often we are so afraid to make that next leap, that next step, because we're what they might say, how they might deny us. And God is like, well, I've seen your stewardship.
Do you not know I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob?
Listen, abundance,
there's
exceedingly.
nothing I cannot do.
Yeah. There's nothing I cannot do. I mean, talk about nothing you cannot do. I told you before we started, like, you know, you won my heart when I was doing the research on you. And nothing is impossible is what you live by. Because you did not wake up and say, I'm a real estate mogul, I'm a guru. You have had so many things that you've had to overcome in your life. I mean, your childhood was extremely tumultuous. I mean, you talk about trauma. We talk about things in therapy now. We talk about things on the internet and Instagram and how we got to forgive our parents. But your childhood was ugly.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible. So, when I share my story, I need for people to know I only gotten through that story in 2018.
2018. Yeah.
Wow. Let's see what she mean by only got through it. What does that mean?
Like, I haven't been through this story. Most of my life, I lived in identity crisis, not knowing who Terrica was, even though I was helping invest.
You see, this is people close to me, right? When we watch videos together, panels and shit, I've told them on a consistent basis, it's an identity issue. When you have a false identity, then you have a habit of false identifying, because that's who you are. The foundation of anything and anybody is who they are, is their identity, which comes from a word idem, I-D-E-M, which means sameness. So when they're looking out, you're trying to look for what's you, but you don't have that. And you see people just doing anything, going for anything. This is the foundation of being able to have a moral standard. This is the foundation of being able to have principles, because there's a resonance with a sameness on said principles that you can identify within your identity. You're looking for you in these situations. And when you have trauma like this, it especially primarily from your parents, from the people you get your face from, which is what I was explaining on Hamp Channel when a fucking idiot like Fantastic comes up and says dumb shit. When it comes to mirror neurons, there's something different that happens in your mirror neurons, which is located in the superior cortex, right at the top of the brainstem. When your parents are the ones giving you the trauma, this is my face attacking me. That does something to your identity. And I'm not sure how old she is, but she said her whole life she had issues with identity, who she is. Yeah, they are. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I see. Yeah, there you go. You know, we gonna talk. We definitely gonna have conversations about that. But not like playing, not just for conversation. You know, to push them calls to action and get some shit done at a mass level. All right.
Investors, and even though I was selling real estate, and even though I was already a wife, I still lived in identity crisis. I had
After her for getting married, she's just talking about something I always say. You had an identity before you were born. We get confused at thinking we are what we do. We're not. Again, people have a right. The person who is not you have a right to take you and identify you by what you do. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But you as a person, you have to understand that you are not your behavior. No matter how good you do or how bad you do, you're not the things you do. That's not what created you, right? That's not the source and the origin of what you are. You have your identity irrespective of what you do. You are what you are, irrespective of what you do, because you could have took that same identity and did any fucking thing else. So doing a lot of stuff and accomplishing a lot of stuff is not going to solve and bring it's not going to bring solvency and fulfillment, right, to who you are. Establishing who and what you are first, and then exercising that is where fulfillment comes from, not to the contrary. In fact, anything to the contrary notwithstanding.
no clue who I was. And what I found out was that I didn't love myself. Like, I didn't love Terrica. I was embarrassed of who she was. And so I went to take a sabbatical.
That's a part of self-development that we need to speak more about. How people are embarrassed of who they are. Right? I went through a spill of this because when I'm learning about morals and what's right, I'm learning my dad was a killer. I'm learning my brother and sold drugs. My brother was the same, and they hurt people. So I had to come up 5, 6, 7 years old thinking, am I that bad? Am I that mean? Well, I am beating people up in school. You know what I'm saying? And you become to be embarrassed, right? As you're coming up. And then people carry this into their teens. I'm sorry, preteens, teens, adulthood. And sometimes it's never addressed that they're embarrassed who they are. So they cover themselves. Weave, glasses, the fronts, the grills, the hat. They put on whole costumes to hide who they are. Not that everybody doing that, but that'll be those. When's the next party? When's the next fad? Right? Some of the ways you see embarrassment, but they partying and laughing. That's a good thing. That's a good topic, man.
I needed a sabbatical because I was depressed. I started taking medicine because I'm at the height of my career and I'm depressed.
Oh, look, I gotta shout you out. Shout out to Quantum. Appreciate it. She's the one that sent me this. Shout out to her for this. This is good on 2 levels for this topic. That I always talk about this and what's happening with these babies and this motherhood out here, and the mindset. It's a really, really good video.
Yeah.
Back up a little bit.
I went to take a sabbatical. I needed a sabbatical because I was depressed. I started taking medicine because I'm at the height of my career and I'm depressed.
Yeah.
And what I realized was that I was fearful of others judging me because of what I went through. Because all of the ugly that I've been through in my life, most people can't relate.
No.
Right.
No.
And so I'm all like, I'm reminded of a time when I was a little girl.
Let me tell you this. There's more people that can relate to her story than she thinks. But she's right in the sense that a lot of people can't relate because she's talking about it. Next to none of them talk about it. They always protecting their mama's image. And that needs to stop.
Girl. And my mother.
Why should you tear down women's image? Because you shouldn't protect predators no matter who they are. You shouldn't protect child abusers no matter who they are. There's no reason to do that because you're preserving the danger that exists for the child. On a cultural standpoint, then it never gets solved.
Mother had left us in the house for days at a time. Now at this point, I'm reminded of a time when I was a little girl, and my mother had left us in the house for days at a time. Now,
I forgot I ain't on camera.
I forgot to put the camera and everything up. I was like, you know, I'm rusty. I'm reminded of a time when my mother left us in the house for days at a time. For days at a time. Listen.
At this point, we never knew when she would come back.
We never knew when she would come back.
Yeah.
Like we never knew. Like it could be 1 day, it can be 2 days, it could be 3 days. Well, at this point when she left us, there was no water, there was no power, there was no food.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't know, and what I don't share much on platforms, is before she sold me to her drug dealer, she beat me with an extension cord and almost beat the life out of me.
Yeah.
So I was already.
Before she sold me to her drug dealer, she beat me with an extension cord. I'm going to say intention cord. You understand? Are you hearing it? Oh, this is something the World Class making now. This is my channel. Right? I made this up. I told you for years that this is what chicks have been telling me. This is what's going on. This is a woman, a female. I'm a man talking about how horrible Black females treat children. I've always said they treat the girls way worse than they treat the boys. So when you hear an ugly bitch say that she'll just delete the son and she just want the girl, please be alarmed. She'll only have the girl when these Black mothers treat the little girl even worse, because they want to program them to spite, to be a fucking vessel to spite, because it's easier to manipulate the girl than what? Than the boy, because they rebel. They want to be able to spew and pour all of their horridness into a little girl, because it's harder, and you can't guarantee that with a little boy because we rebel. They treat the girls way worse. Way worse. My mom had all boys. I watched what she did to us. What I watched other mothers do to daughters, nigga, it's way worse. Way worse. Be wary of them dumb bitches. Listen to them. Listen to this lady's story. You gonna look at them bitches sideways. Oh, I'm gonna get rid of the male child. Yeah? Yeah? Uh-huh. You're gonna learn today why. This is why they're saying it. This is it.
There was no power.
Yeah.
There was no food.
Yeah.
And
because she's a millionaire. That's why she's speaking up. That make her look good when she does it. How many chicks been through what she been through ain't a millionaire? You say about a good 98% of them. About a good 98% of them ain't a millionaire. 95. So they ain't gonna speak up.
What a lot of people don't know, and what I don't share much on platforms, is before she sold me to her drug dealer, she beat me with an extension cord and almost beat the life out of me.
Yeah.
So I was already bruised and hurt and barely even able to walk, you know? And so
she was bruised, barely even able to walk, left in the house with no food, no power, right? Obviously no supervision for days, and they didn't know when she was going to come back.
Again, when you know, most people just want love from their parents, right? Most people just want a mother to love them, to say good job, to rub their head, hold their hand. I've never experienced that from my mother, even to this day as a grown woman. Now God has given me that in abundance, but I never received it from my biological mother. But the fact that she was sick, she was on drugs, she always chose that white stone over her children. She's always done that. To the point where my resentment towards her, it created the identity crisis that I had within my life, where I didn't know who I was. But I was so afraid of becoming her. So all the success I built, Brandi, I built it with anger.
Yeah. Wow.
I built my success on anger. And it got to the
100% with her. That's I built my shit on hate, violence, vengeance, absolutely positively the same shit. Now my shit wasn't so much about my mom. My shit was about my brother getting killed. Right? So I was always fucking angry, nonstop. You know what I'm saying? But hers is about how horrible her child was. Her childhood, when her shit's way worse than mine. And I've always told people, even in real life, I don't rank in the top 200 of the stories I've watched and heard. I'm nowhere close at all of the shit I've been through. You know what I'm saying? When you comparing people's traumas and trials, now I've had it easy compared to the shit I've seen and heard. That's just like this is too much. She ranks over me immediately. You know what I'm saying? In terms of difficulties.
Point where I had nothing to be angry about. You know, my bank account is right. I work so hard that, you know, I'm married and I'm an example now to people. And I work so hard to stay in ministry and around God. And I work so hard to be a mother, you know, to the point where I got to the point where I was still holding so much resentment that it was killing me.
Yeah.
Like killing me.
Yeah, it do. But she's a strong person that can admit that. You see the difference between her and a lot of these evil ass females that are hiding what she's been through, because they may not have nothing as bad as their mother sold them, but their mother abused them, mentally abused them, never loved them, that's why I picked her over all these different stories that happen. She has the strength to admit it, that happened. Whereas other ones, they don't. So now these niggas ain't shit. You only allowed to bang on the nigga, so you have this fake outlet on where you're gonna put your anger and your aggression, and it doesn't solve anything. That's why she don't hate people, because she was honest about the situation. The big difference, those of us that have been through trauma, that don't go out and just hate one side or just hate one thing, is because we're honest about what happened. Yeah, this person did this to me, and this did happen. I've had people say, "No, you know that's your mother." You're not supposed to slap the shit out of a little kid. You're not supposed to tell them, "Fuck you." You're not supposed to leave them in a house by themselves when they're little. No, it's not okay. I didn't allow people to tell me that shit was okay. I didn't accept it. I didn't allow me to say that shit was okay. I didn't allow my family to tell me that it's bad for me to beat up a kid in school, but it's okay for my mom to beat me up. You're not going to manipulate me like that. It's not okay. I can fuck this little white boy up. I'm bad for fucking this little white boy up for calling me a nigga or playing games with me. But my mom's not bad for being drunk and hitting us. That's bullshit, right? You have to, the thing that's the number one problem with black people, there's nothing else. The number one problem with black people is they refuse to accept that their mothers are abusive and their mothers did them wrong, because their mothers spend energy manipulating them children, because that's the only power they have to be able to guarantee that they can be able to get their narrative off and get their story off with no pushback. That is the number one problem, that your mother did what she did to you. And that is the foundation. A motherfucker that was not there is not responsible for doing things that actually tangibly happened in the house, because the nigga or that bitch can't take credit for the good stuff. So this person that was there is responsible. You don't go to work under a manager, that manager does bad, and then you blame the manager that was fired or replaced. That's not how that works. And so-called black people refuse to hold the mother that is there responsible, because they think they're entitled to a pity party because she was the only one there. That's your fault. That's what happens when you're a leader. You don't work with management or leadership correctly, and one of them leave, then it's on you. It is what it is. It does not make no difference. Your one sob story over here does not alleviate you of your abuse and mistreatment of somebody else. That is the number one thing that's wrong with black people. That you think it's okay for your mama or your grandmama to mistreat you, and it's not okay. It's not okay for no white man to mistreat us. It's not okay for your mother. It's not all right. The slightest little slights, the slightest, those microaggressions are acts of war. You need to treat that from your mother, from your grandmother, from your aunt. Don't let your fucking homegirls do that to their children. Those microaggressions. It's not all right. In fact, it's the worst. When you're getting aggression and abuse from your parents, the people who you get your fucking face from, it is the actual worst. When your dad is just fucking you up, just to be fucking you up because he's drunk. The drunk dad shit. When we know women are the number one consumers in retail, and it's 2 million more black females than it is men. So you think it's not a lot of abusive drunk mothers?
It's wrong for the dad to be fucking slapping the shit. His big muscles, these big ass niggas slapping a fucking toddler. That shit is wrong as fuck. It don't make an inch of sense. I mean, niggas I beat the shit out of in my life. For me to look at my 7-year-old and think I'm gonna punch him in his face for him to learn to fucking put the toilet seat down. How much fucking sense does that make? I've knocked niggas out completely cold cocked the fuck to death. I'm gonna hit my 7-year-old. I'd have knocked niggas off their feet 250 pounds, nigga. I'm gonna take these same arms and slap my 7-year-old. That makes sense for a nigga to hit a little ass infant? Fuck no. This boy get his entire face from me. I'm gonna take that same face and call him a bitch and tell him fuck him. Get the fuck out of my face. Go sit the fuck down. No, feed yourself. I'm gonna yell at him. That makes sense. The same little boy the same little face that I see get excited when he see my face, I'm gonna take that same face and attack him with it. That makes sense? That's abuse. I'm gonna ragdoll him when I'm irritated. I'm gonna treat him according to how I feel. When I fucked his mother and brought him here, he didn't fucking ask. He didn't send a motherfucking invitation for me to bring him here. I made that action. So then I'm gonna abuse the motherfucker that I asked. That's like inviting somebody to a party and then you treat them like shit. How much sense does that make? Abusing children is wrong, period. You have a right to hold your parents and grandparents accountable for the abuse against you. You have a right. You have a voice. It is wrong. You were trusting them. They failed you. They betrayed you. You do not have to accept it. It is not okay. We did not learn to abuse a child from slavery. That's not true at all. We didn't learn that from them. That's something we thought was okay on our own. They weren't doing this shit in slavery. So cut it. They were taught and forced to do that. Then you wanted your fucking lick back. You realized you couldn't do what you wanted to do. So you started to fuck up the children. Now I'm saying you, but these is them in the 50s and 40s. More probably back in the 10s and 20s, most so. But they wasn't beating their children like we was beating the children today. All these things that we have about our culture and these relationships is a lie. Daddy wasn't there. It's about absent fathers. No, the fuck it's not. We're in our children's lives more now than ever in history. You're not about to tell me that the niggas who didn't have fucking cars, that had to walk 6 and 7 miles to go to fuck to work and 6 and 7 miles to fuck back, or ride horses or ride them slow ass fucking cars from 2030 was in their children's lives as much as we are. And we can work from home and shit. That's not real. They barely seen their dads like we did. The stuff that we say are lies. They don't exist. We're just making up shit. The real problem is we don't have any foundation and understanding of creation on how stuff works on Earth. What being a human really is. I've said this over and over and over again on my channel. If we allow every seed to be corrupted, how can we expect a harvest? You have to treat a seed like it's the last motherfucking seed you ever gonna get in life and protect it. And we're not doing that. It's not okay for your mother to cuss you out. It's not okay for your dad to be talking bad about your mom in front of you. Just to be talking bad to get her shit off. If it's the truth, it's the truth. It's not okay to lie. Will your parents lie about the other parent? To say that they're good when they're not. To say that they're bad when they're not. These things are not okay. Because as the young lady expressed, you begin to develop identity issues. And those identity issues on who and what you are transmute to you having bad identification ability. When it comes to other people, when it comes to other situations, when it comes to opportunity. Cause precedes effect. And there's causation and there's causation. We'll get into things like that a little later. But this is the problem right here. This is the gender war shit. This is it here now, right now. Not nowhere else. This disconnect from who and what you are. It starts at home. We got to have a foundation where home is protected. This word here is not going to be said a lot. It'll never get popular. Only y'all that watch this and is watching now will understand it. But what the surroundings and what this is when you have a child and when you are a child, when you have parents and you are a parent, it's sacred. It's sacred. Sacred. That's the word. It's sacred. That's what it is. It's not gonna be fun. It's not gonna be a fad. It's not gonna trend. It's sacred. It needs to be treated accordingly to that which is sacred, and not to the contrary. It's not an opportunity for you to get your shit off. It's not an opportunity to get your rocks off and get away with something. It's not a something for nothing hustle. It's about preserving worthiness. And we got to call out shit that's not right. So let's say the rest of the story.
But you started on telling the story, and I think this is the story that, you know, it was so many moments I had to pause and walk away while I was doing the research for you, because while one of those times when you were left in the home for days, you and your siblings had no food, and you were in there with no power, and you said you ran out and grabbed 2 handfuls of grass, and took it back into the house so y'all would eat grass. I literally, Terrica said, wait a minute. Like, and you said the sun you had been in there for days, so there was no power.
Hurted my eyes opening. You gotta imagine, I'm opening up a door. When you inside of a dark room for a while and you open up a door and light come in, you squinch. It's like you gotta block the sunlight from your eyes because it gotta adjust. So imagine your eyes having to adjust. You got to run outside and find something to eat as fast as you can, because you can't risk the neighbor seeing you, because they will tell her that the kids were outside. Because that's how the old folks did back in the day. Everybody knew everybody's business. Okay. Everybody was the parent. So
My bad. I was muted, bro. I was fucking. I ain't gonna say. Listen, this right here is the fucking worst shit. This shit right here is the worst shit. Right here. There's nothing like this shit in history. Nothing. Absolutely, positively nothing in history like this. She is saying what we just heard was the abused person. The abused person ran where? Outside, was in the house so fucking long that her eyes hurt from the sun to grab food for her fucking siblings that were left for days by the mother. She went out of her way to protect her abuser and preserve her Stockholm syndrome. This is the fucking reason I be flipping out on panels. This is the motherfucking reason y'all see me flip out on panels when these topics come up. Because what she started with was, you know how old people is. Everybody's in everybody else's business. Yes? So everybody knows this fucking shit goes on. So what the little girl that was abused did, ran outside, grabbed grass for her siblings to fucking eat because her mom left her the fuck in the house with no food. Her and her siblings. It ain't these dumbass conversations, bro. This is it. This is the problem right here. This is the disconnect. This is worse than slavery. There's nothing in history as bad as this when you have the fucking abused people. Because the shit is now on autopilot. Where you're preserving evil. Listen to this shit again, bro. This is crazy. Listen to it again.
The neighbors seeing you because they will tell us. So imagine your eyes having to adjust during light come in. You put
there was no power.
Hurted my eyes opening. You gotta imagine I'm opening up a door. When you inside of a dark room for a while and you open up a door and light come in, you squinch. It's like you gotta block the sunlight from your eyes because it gotta adjust. So imagine your eyes having to adjust. You got to run outside and find something to eat as fast as you can because you can't risk the neighbor seeing you because they will tell her that the kids were outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen. Yeah. What she said was, as the abused child that was neglected, she was still under the what? Under the fucking Stockholm syndrome of prioritizing her mother's reputation over her and her siblings' safety. They weren't allowed to go outside to protect the fucking mother's image because they would find out that they in there by their motherfucking self. So they couldn't leave the motherfucking house in the first place to get food after she left them in the house with no food. Because the nosy neighbors would tell her. Make sure you're understanding what's happening. There's a standard of child abuse in our community with black people that are not allowed to address the shit. They're not allowed to address the shit. You can't address it because everybody in on it. To let a chick do whatever the fuck she want to do and get no consequences from it. I didn't make her say what she just said. She said, you know how old people are. They in everybody and everybody else's business. And we couldn't just go outside. Right? Because they would tell her. Not the police, not the CPS. The neighbors would tell the mother that they were outside. The neighbors wouldn't tell the police or CPS that they was in the motherfucking house by themselves, but they would tell the mother. You see what I'm saying? I didn't make this story up.
Yeah, because that's how the old folks did back in the day. Everybody knew everybody's business. Okay, everybody was the parent.
Yeah.
So I'm literally taking the biggest risk of my life at 5 years old. Imagine
a 5-year-old. This is at 5, running out to get grass for her siblings.
being 5 years old. I'm not even the oldest child, Brandi.
Oh, so I thought you were the oldest.
No, I'm the middle.
Oh, wow.
Like, I'm the middle. So I have a baby sister, and then I have everybody else that's older than me. So imagine at 5 years old, you're like, yo, if I do not get us out of this house and get us something to eat, we're going to starve to death. At 5 years old, I became a protector.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I needed to protect my siblings. I needed to protect us. And so I remember going to the front door. It's completely dark in this house. And in the, in the hood, right? They put foil on the windows. So you can't even see inside anyway, right?
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they put foil on the windows.
I guess I had a different childhood.
So I remember opening up the front door, and, you know, obviously the sun is very bright.
Yeah.
And it's hitting me. So I'm squinting, but my heart is beating uncontrollably out of my chest. Like, I have to run as fast as I can, and I have to make it back on the inside before anybody see me. Because what happens is, if the neighbor on the left and or on the right see me, they're gonna tell her that we left the house.
The culture, child abuse is a culture for Black people. Child abuse is a culture for Black people. Child abuse is a culture for Black people. It's a culture. The neighbors were in on preserving child neglect. They was in on it. Because when it's their turn and they need somebody to do excess, they're not just going to do the right shit. Their neighbors will tell her. The neighbors won't have them in their motherfucking house, though. But I'm tripping. Yeah.
So I grabbed the first thing I could think of, which was 2 hands full of grass.
Yeah.
And I ran back inside, and I told my sisters, I said, we have to eat this tonight. And my baby sister said, I am not eating that. I said, if we do not eat this grass, we're going to starve to death. And in order for us to have something to drink, this is where it led up to, right? This half empty can of beer was all they had in the house. There was no water.
Because there's no power. The water's off.
The water is off.
Yeah.
There's no food. There's nothing in the house.
Wow.
So we're literally sharing this can of beer that's half empty. Okay. That was on a nightstand. And when my mother returned, she realized that can was completely empty. She didn't care that she left her kids in the house for days at a time. She didn't care that we was hungry and starving.
Listen.
She didn't care about any of that. The thing is, when your parents are on drugs, you don't know which parent you're going to get.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm not going to say most crackheads, but the crackheads I've seen, and I've grown up around a lot of them, they have this clean symptom where they have to constantly keep things clean. They're always cleaning 24/7, even though there's no dirt in the house, or they're paranoid.
Yeah.
They're constantly thinking somebody is coming, somebody is after them. You know, they're fidgeting. And so if she came in fidgeting, her eyes are popped outside of her head. She's high, but she needs another high to keep her, to get her into the cleaning mode, to keep the cycle going with her. So we never knew which type of mother we was going to get walking through that door.
You understand how much trauma you got to go through at 5 years old and not know what's going to walk through the door? You understand how much at 5 years old, she was the second youngest? So far it's all girls. I don't know if she got any boy siblings. Obviously, an older brother. That's traumatic. I know that world. My mother wasn't even on drugs, and I got to say, I don't know who the fuck can come to the door.
But when she realized that that can was empty and that was the only thing she paid attention to, she instantly got upset. And so she was coming after all of us. Now, I know my sisters couldn't handle the beatings that she gave.
So I guess she had all sisters, all girls.
They just couldn't. And so I was always the one who would say, it was me.
Wow.
I did it. I would take the beatings because I knew my baby sister for sure couldn't take it. And my older sister at the time, who's now passed away, you know, she was so soft-hearted. She was so amazing, you know. And at the age of 5 years old, I knew I had to fight that battle for them. I had to take that.
I mean, at 5 years old,
I'm thinking there's three of them, 3 girls.
you say that your mother, in order to pay for a debt to her drug dealer, sold you to the drug dealer. And you were sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
For the first time at 5 years old.
I was raped.
Yeah.
Sexually assaulted.
Was raped. Yes, she was raped. Yes. That's exactly how that's supposed to be said. YouTube or not. Yes, that's what happened. Absolutely.
I just find it's a fancy word.
Yeah.
You know, people need to hear the word rape. I lost
Yeah.
my innocence at 5 years old.
Yeah.
I never felt so much pain in my life.
Yeah.
Being destroyed like that.
Yeah. At 5 years old.
The part that was the worst was looking back while I'm being pulled by a drug dealer to go into a bathroom and seeing her high on the floor, eyes rolled in the back of her head. And she's satisfied.
Yeah.
And I'm begging, I'm crying and pleading for her. You know, the thing that I remember the most from this moment was
That's a lot. That's a lot. Y'all hold on. I got way worse than this coming after this. I ain't gonna sit there with you. That's a lot. But that's heavy right there, man. That's heavy. That's a lot. That's a lot. Imagine seeing your mother while you're getting raped on drugs on the floor. As she said, satisfied. At 5 years old, there's some fucking piece of shit, scumbag, trash ass nigga raping you. That's just crazy.
Kept saying, I'm gonna be a good girl. I promise I'm gonna be a good girl. If you just forgive me, I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Thinking she did something wrong. Trying to talk her way out of her mother selling her for her drug habit. But her mother didn't even sell her to pay the debt. Her mother sold her to get high again for that one time.
You know, and I did that because I kept saying, I'm gonna be a good girl. I promise I'm gonna be a good girl. If you just forgive me, I'm so sorry.
5 years old, she's saying. This is a 5-year-old. As she's saying it.
Sorry.
Wow.
You know, and I did that because I thought because I would always take the rap, or I would always be the one that's gonna go and survive and try to do something to help, that I was the one being punished for it. And so obviously I was raped. I ended up shortly after that in foster care. You know, I lived with my grandmother a short period of time. They came and got us out the house. They realized she was heavily.
The part I don't like. I don't like the skipping the part of how you got there and what happened. Yeah, I want to know what actually happened, what took place, because those are the things that need to happen going forward to keep babies safe. Who did what? Why did foster care take you? How did you go from being raped to being in foster care? Because that story is what's going to preserve children's lives and prevent a lot of the stuff that she's going through. You know what I mean? And she said, Lauren said, when I hear kids crying, I stop and listen just in case I got to see what's going on, right? Yeah, it's real. Next Level said, this happens so much and never gets talked about. Absolutely. Yeah, shout out to you too for being here and listening, because it needs to get talked about. These people's stories need to get heard. What I want y'all to think about, she's representing a lot of dead people, a lot of dead little girls and little boys that was through to her same age that didn't survive being raped like that while their mother was there. She's representing a lot of people that are dead now, a lot of dead babies she's representing, telling their story. It happens a lot.
Nora says, I don't get why the mom just don't sell her own damn self. She did, and it wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. Did sell herself. A chick like that definitely sold pussy. Wasn't enough. So imagine being tied down by a rope with a 300-pound woman sitting on you and beating you. That's crazy. Yeah, that parts of my body. So these stories need to get out. People need to hear it. People need help. These people be on pounds with y'all, and people in chat trying to attack you, troll with stories like this. They need help.
On drugs, and that she could not keep her children, and I ended up eventually in foster care, spending most of my life in foster care.
Yeah, but you said that was just as and equally as bad.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm now an advocate for foster care youth.
Yeah.
They're very important to me. Nobody knows what it feels like when your birthday come around and you don't have your parents. You know, some people have parents in their life and they're still absent.
Yeah.
You know, like nobody knows what it feels like on Christmas when you're getting all these gifts from all these different organizations. They done put your name on a star at somebody's church.
Yeah.
To get you gifts.
Yeah.
You're at somebody foundation event and everybody dressed up in tuxedos and black dresses. They're in a ball right now. And your name is on a star. And no matter how many gifts they get you, it compares to nothing for what you're longing for.
Hey, listen, right there. That's it right there. That part right there. I do the best I can to stress that. Do the best I can for y'all to understand. When you got a void in you like that, it doesn't matter what people give you. It don't matter how much attention or what political bullshit you get or what social constructs you receive or believe from this damn society. When you got that type of void and wound inside you and emptiness inside you, that it will never suffice. First time I was on the internet, I said, "Yo, we got mommy and daddy issues," and I meant that as a people. And she's explaining it. See, the people in the real world, the professionals, back up everything I say. Everything I'm saying, these professionals come up here because she's a real estate investor. She's a person that survived it. These people come up and validate everything I'm saying and been saying in real life.
Yeah, that's the love of your mother. The love of your father.
Amen.
The presence of them being there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been, to me, the best Christmas gift ever. I was always willing as a child to forgive. I was always willing as a child to forgive because that's that child syndrome where your parents hurt you and you just keep forgiving them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm glad she brought that up. Yeah. That part got to stop. I've never been that forgiving. I was the opposite of her. Never wanted to forgive them. But that came with a level of understanding of what they went through as children. Both my parents were fucked up. They were attacked a lot. And my mother was punched in the face by her mother with rings on, by my grandmother. My dad was beat up by my grandmother's husband at the time, which was my aunts and uncle's dad. And my grandmother felt guilty. So when that ended, she was kind of spoiling him and everything, and that just created a different type of beast. And then he was out of control from that point. But when you understand that, you realize at some point that there was nothing really they could do. They couldn't be better than what they gave me. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I used to tell my son's mother. I've said this plenty of times. You can never be a better parent than you are a person. And that internal insolvency, that void you have in you that wasn't filled with your parents, which includes your grandparents, which includes your great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents, aka ancestors, especially direct bloodline where you come from, only they can fill that void. And only you can make that void being filled or that fulfillment matter. Nobody else. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, we come with siblings. Those of us that have it, to have them, and cousins and stuff. That helps us on that journey, and we don't got to do it by ourselves. And that's the totality of it. That's how it's supposed to be done. But when that sacred relationship is violated, we get what we get, and we see what we see out here. You understand?
I find that when you go through that child syndrome and then you go into adult syndrome, it changes to rage. Like we can't be in the
That's
same.
a fact. Absolute fact. That's correct. It changes into rage. That's definitely, yes. We'll be really enraged, bro. You see it. Absolutely. Yeah. You see, this is what it sounds like when people do the real work on themselves. You can hear it. So I'm glad y'all are here with me today, and y'all that are watching the replay. Make sure you hit the like button, share it out, that you can hear what it sounds like, providing examples of when the work is done, and being done.
Room no more. This is why I had identity crisis, because when I was in foster care, I started using my body as a tool to get back at people, to escape from the world.
Listen, hold up. I got a clip for that. Do I have it? Is it up here? Is it loaded? Let me make sure. No, I'm about to hold up. Even it ain't shit. I'm gonna upload it right now. I'll wait. I'm a little rusty, but we definitely gonna upload it right now, because I'm gonna play it again. Let's go back a little bit. Why does it load up? Yeah. She spoke the gospel just now.
It changes to rage. Like we can't be in the same room no more. This is why I had identity crisis, because when I was in foster care, I started using my body as a tool to get back at people.
Message.
I had to upload that, because that's right there. That's it. That's what you see. That's what the whole culture is, what she just said just now. My body, my choice, all this free reign. This is what she just said. Here is all it is. It's never anything outside of that.
Like we can't be in the same room no more. This is why I had identity crisis, because when I was in foster care, I started using my body as a tool to get back at people, to escape from the world. Using my body was my drug.
Message.
That's what's going on. That's all that's been going on. All that's been going on.
Never did crack, but I did things probably just as bad as crack.
Yeah.
You know, and
message.
And so me like not caring and not having, if my innocence was taken at 5 years old, what does it matter?
Yeah.
If I give it to anybody?
Yeah.
Who can tell me anything?
Yeah.
In foster care, they just thought I was a problem child. I had walls up. You know, they put me in the crazy house at a very
you were institutionalized.
They institutionalized me. They gave me Ritalin. They, you know, they did everything they could to try to break me, to make me think that I was crazy. Nobody wrapped their arms around me and said, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You can do this.
Until you found yourself homeless at 17 years old under a bridge, and you had the thoughts that this cannot be it.
This cannot be it. So by the time I was 16 years old, Brandi, I was legally emancipated from the state.
Yeah.
So that means that I'm an adult.
Full adult at 16.
At 16.
Yeah.
Because I stayed on runaway in the system. So what happened was I ended up traveling around the world selling magazines. Yes. I never knew what real estate was. Most people be like, how did you even think of real estate with your story? Because at 16 years old, I hopped on a Greyhound and I went around the world to 42 states selling magazines to people all around the world.
Wow.
With a magazine crew.
Wow.
Yes. And so I would always ask them, so what is it that you do for a living? And they would say real estate. I didn't know what real estate meant, even though they told me that.
So you get this idea that this is the path that I'm going to take.
Yes.
And how did this idea come to you? Because I got to believe that it had to have been some vision that came to you.
So after Hurricane Katrina, I was like, I never want to be poor again like this. I hate this feeling. I hated that I hated the fact that
We're going to listen to a little bit of her story, and we're going to look at this next clip that I got to play it because fuck it.
Our legal officials didn't come in time.
Yeah.
So I just said, after Hurricane Katrina, when I got relocated to another city, I said, okay, what is it that I can do? And I just remember hearing the word real estate from all those people that I met when I was selling magazines. And so I Googled real estate They pulled up real estate school. So again, I didn't know what real estate was.
Now, how old are you at this point?
I'm probably 21, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably 21. And so I Google real estate school. No, not real estate school. I Google real estate. It pulls up real estate school. At this point, I'm like, I got to go to real estate school. So I sign up for a course. I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing. I've never heard nobody mention a mortgage. You got to think about where I come from.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about, oh, I got to pay a mortgage this month.
Yeah.
It was always, I need like $50 to pay my rent. So I just never knew the lingo.
Yeah.
So I'm the dumbest one in the class. I am the one slowing the class up. I'm sorry, what is an encumbrance? What is a lien? What is a mortgage? Like, I knew none of those simple terms.
You nothing, bro. Yeah, listen. I encourage y'all to go listen to the whole thing. Again, I talk about this stuff, man. That just our whole live is my topic, to be honest. I mean, this whole video is my topic, but it's kind of it for this, because you're gonna get more into the success part of it. What's going on, Red? Yeah, absolutely. Her story is fucking phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Like I did the video of the little girl getting sold by her mom. She died. She was killed. That's sad. And I'm showing the opposite. Thanks to Quantum, she sent it, and I'm glad. You know, this girl was sold basically for drugs to a drug dealer, and the drug dealer didn't kill her. That she went on to have a really, really rough life. To turn it around is amazing. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing that she went through what she went through, and that she's not the only one I met like that. I've met successful women and just regular women, just to be able to live a regular, normal life after being sold by your mom and all of this other shit is fucking amazing. Even if it was just one time for one bill, that's ridiculous. It's fucking asinine and ridiculous. So let me acknowledge the super chat real quick. Appreciate you, Jared Jarrison's $10 super chat. It's a great topic, the world class. Appreciate you, Brody. Glad that you stopped through. Subscribe if you're new to the channel if you hadn't already. Appreciate you, baby.
Big bar, $20 to the mall.
Yeah, her story is fucking awesome. I'm very, very proud of her. Sound like a New Orleans girl. That's what I think, if I'm not wrong. And one of those true rag to riches story, man. This is good to see it. It's both topics, you know what I'm saying? Again, the thing that I talk about on a consistent basis, I think is a foundation of what's wrong with our people is that we want to continue to deal with the symptom, and the root cause haven't been dealt with. How you're mistreated, your identity, how you're treated by your mother, the motherhood of amongst so-called black females has to change, has to be addressed, because it is horrid at best. It's horrid. And I know as a father, we've been charged with my whole life, black men ain't this, they ain't there. And I've seen my generation be there, and they complain about it 10 times more. So they've been complaining about shit that doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? And I'm seeing the bullshit and the fuck shit that comes with this absent father bullshit. Now, what I watch more than anything is women go, when they don't have their way, when they don't have their motherfucking way, oh, this nigga, hey, I'm not letting that nigga see the baby. I've seen that shit 100 times. I don't even see niggas that say they don't want to be in a child's life. I just see the chick saying that. And then these niggas you go to, you hear shit, and that shit don't come out of them chicks' mouths. Yeah, is it niggas that just don't be? Yeah, it's niggas that don't want to be there. I know one fucking nigga. One nigga. And that nigga in his child life now. Or his little girl's life. Or his son. He wasn't there for his son. He had his mom and uncle and little brother watching. Other than that, I don't know no situation. Jerry, you're right. He said this is a movie that needs to be made. Yeah, this needs to be made, or at least a documentary. People need to know about her story because it's inspiring. We're gonna deal with one more thing. I dropped the link. People wanna kick it or whatever. Kind of talk about what you've seen, and I guess there's some of the YouTube drama. Prepare yourself. This is heavy. This is very heavy. This is very heavy. Very, very heavy. This ain't no joke. This ain't no joke. This is heavy. So prepare yourself. Hit the like button. Share it out. Like I said, I dropped the link a little bit after this video is played. I got this from IG, from Mr. Palmer channel. Shout out to Mr. Palmer. Shout out to Kelsey Dane. I don't know if I'm gonna get flagged for showing this. I probably am.
I don't know. Wait, let go.
Find injuries where this child has been beaten. In addition to the video we found in the investigation of his hands tied behind him and thrown into the pool. We found an injury where his spleen suffered a significant tear. The medical examiner said it could have been nothing else other than an immediate hard strike to the abdomen. And as the autopsy went on, they found different layers of bruises and injuries from past beatings. This is where he's beaten into. That's not a corporal punishment spanking. That's a beating. Now, if we can show it slow and stop it, you'll be able to clearly see his hands tied behind his back. This makes me so angry I can't see straight. Back it up just a little bit. Maybe one more frame. You see his hands right there tied behind his back? And she grabs him by the arm and slings him into the pool.
Sheriff, I think we had your notes wrong. It's
later, we find in.
Give me a second, please.
Sheriff, I think we had your notes wrong. It's
No, he is not. No, he is not alive. I think there's like so the first time I watched that, it's like a week or something ago. I literally couldn't blink. Close my eyes when I was seeing a little boy tossed in the fucking water, with his hands tied behind his back after being beaten. There's gonna be a million and one excuses. She probably African, she not non-FBA, this, that, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. But these things happen to little boys, little angels like this. I have a son. So yeah, that just had me bugged out. And what I know for a fact is that when these little boys do live and survive things like her, they grow up to be the same devil. And then you go, these niggas ain't shit, it's these niggas. It's these bitches like her. It's these bitches like her. And like you watched the last young lady do, we're not allowed to address these abusive people. Hey, this is not his mom. This isn't his mother. This evil bitch to the left is not his mother. That's his. She adopted him. This is his foster care mother. This is what she did to somebody else's baby. This is the violence. This is all these people that walk around big as her. She picks him to attack.
I'm on the panel with PH Diva. PH Diva want to bring up and attack my son. The fucking reflex that these females have to attack children, crazy as fuck. Crazy as fuck. Like their reflex to find a child and attack has to be addressed going forward. So we can cut the fake shit. So let's have everybody's cards on the table. The evil, mean. Listen, y'all done heard me. Maybe you haven't. When they go men are dangerous, absolutely. Yes, the fuck we are. I've seen niggas do evil shit. I have. I've heard a lot of them. And I love doing it. I'm just as capable. Not of hurting children. I don't have that in me. That's not my deal. I don't have that in my soul. But I know I can torture a nigga. Look him right in his eyes and take his life. Niggas are dangerous. Way more dangerous than what you think. I'm probably the most vicious and violent person you will ever hear in your life. I will be 100%. Niggas are fucking dangerous. Let's put the cards on the table. These females are dangerous to children. Because powerless black females in this country know they can't have their way with the rest of us. They take that shit out on children. I've watched that shit my whole life. You can't try that shit with Becky. You can't try that shit with Brad. So you be fucking up these babies, male and female, whether they're your baby or not. They're doing this type of shit to people. You got daycare providers doing this type of shit to other people's children. You got aunts doing this to their nieces and nephews, grandparents doing it to their grandchildren. And little boys like him are victims. Innocence stolen. Life stolen. This nigga was killed. I'm sorry. This baby was killed execution style. This is the shit that hitmen do. Beat you lifeless and throw you in the fucking water they want you to suffer as you die. You understand how much he suffered? You don't even know what he was going through? How much he stressed, like how much stress he went through before he died. Know how weak he had to be. Could you imagine who he was thinking about to come save him? Where's his mom? Where's his dad? You heard the girl before with the 5 when she was 5 getting raped. I'll be a good girl. I'll be a good boy. Probably what he was thinking. I'll be good. He didn't do nothing to be in that situation in the first place. Yo, we have to protect innocence. We have to start recognizing innocence. And that's the issue of identity. That's why I love what Terrica was saying. When we go through this and y'all have your own trauma, you start to disconnect from your identity. That part of that identity is your innocence. We don't even look for innocence no more because you're in the stage where you want justice, or you want some get back. Imagine what he was thinking about as he was thrown here. Imagine what's running through his mind right here. He want to live. How many little boys like him live though and grow up and want some get back? How many of them are on these panels, in these chats? How many of them are these little boys, are these rappers, drug dealers, actors, managers, accountants, doctors, these evil, bad men? How many of us went through this? Was this our fault? We evil, bad, super horrible men that shouldn't be born, right? We did this. It's his fault. He wrong for breathing. Spiritually, we will be judged how we protect the innocent or lack thereof, though. I've never got on here and talked like I'm a saint. I'm very violent. They ask me, "You a good person?" Fuck no, I'm not a good person. I'm whatever's necessary. I'm what's necessary. And I know what's necessary and I know what's not necessary.
because I am necessary. And addressing these things is necessary. It's a need. We have to protect innocence. I have to understand that irrespective of what side you want to speak for, this part is not getting addressed, and this is the causation of the wickedness that you watch. Yes, Unica, wicked. The wickedness that you're watching with people in relationships and in these conversations is that corrupted individuals is infecting uncorrupted individuals, and that the cause is not being addressed. These mistreated children grow up to be evil adults, violent adults, and you got to nip it in the bud where it starts. All this shit that we're doing is a waste of time. All these conversations is a waste of time. They will bear no fruit because the seed is corrupt. The innocent have to have their day, and it's up. Enough is enough. It has to be addressed. So I've had so many conversations with young ladies like this about things like this that have happened to them. I've had grown men holler and cry in my chest because I allowed them, because of my strength, I allowed them to say, it's okay. It was wrong. I said it was wrong. I'm telling you it's okay. For you to be mad, for you to let that shit go, for you to accept that what you watch, whether your grandmother did it, your favorite person did it, it was wrong. It's not okay. It needs to be addressed. We have an epidemic going on in our community that's been going on for about 100 years of child abuse, child endangerment. And it has to be addressed. It is the cause of all of these problems that we have. And the main person doing it is these Black females, whether they're the mother or not. And they're just holding a nigga accountable, whether he did it or not, giving them cover, and they need to be exposed because they are creating and infecting your husbands, your future husbands. They are creating evil in your children, your little boys that you'll have, your nephews, and y'all got to address it. This is something y'all have to bring up and stop allowing the child abuse culture to continue. Same way we created in our community. I'm talking to men now. Nigga, you not hanging around me if you're not in your child life. Y'all need to stop ingratiating and stop accommodating for women that fuck up and attack children, mentally abused children. Stop creating a space for these bitches. Stop letting a bitch think it's okay for you to cuss your baby out in front of me. That's what I ask. You raise your hand at that baby one more time, I'm dialing 911. I don't got to tell you what to do with your child. I'm going to tell you the consequences when you do it. Your ass going to fuck to jail. And I'm not asking you twice. You let me hear about you leaving out that house without them children, I'm calling CPS. Protect these children from these evil ass females and these evil ass niggas. No nigga come to me and say, I'm gonna keep the child away from her, I'm gonna get her back. That baby not for that motherfucker. That's not what that baby is for. We're not playing fucking spy versus spy with the fucking baby. That's that lady baby too. We're not doing that shit. Not doing child alienation games back and forth. So that's what I've always provided, bringing in voices that has been left out of the conversation and really speaking to the source of what's wrong with motherfuckers. I got no foundation. You don't understand cause and effect. You don't know how this world really works. Hustler, muscular, what's up? Good day. A lot of violence going on in this place. A lot of violence, man. A lot of violence that we do not address. You hear. I just slide it back. Slide the shit back so you can hear it, man. A lot of shit, man. Listen to this. What do you think if he'd have lived, what do you think he would have been? Hold up. Let me bring her name up so y'all know this bitch name. That part. That's a little better. Patricia. How the fuck do you? I'm gonna type it. This is the lady name that we watched. I'm putting it in the chat. I don't even know how to say that shit. Sancta Zari? I don't know how the fuck to say her name.
That's not a corporal punishment spanking. That's a beating.
Good this.
Now, if we can show it slow and stop it, you'll be able to clearly see his hands tied behind his back. This makes me so angry I can't see straight. Back it up just a little bit. Maybe one more frame. You see his hands right there tied behind his back? And she grabs him by the arm and slings him into the pool.
Sheriff, I think we have your notes wrong.
And that lady was the foster mother. Little boys are getting fucked up by their mothers. I've watched this shit personally in my life over and over again. These boys are getting attacked, their power stolen by their mothers, and then they're out false compensating. They bang on other niggas because that's what you're allowed to bang on. Lauren says, lets me know I made the right choice when my babies were little. When my babies were little, no babysitters. Take opposite shifts to keep them safe. Absolutely, that's the best route. It's beyond evil, nigga. It's beyond evil. It's beyond evil. And they hide shit like that. They could flag this channel for that or flag this or whatever. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Whatever. I'll just beat the fuck off YouTube. I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna make a new one out. No, I'm good. I'm set. Do what you do. You take the channel. I couldn't care. I'm gonna be a man. That shit is evil. It needs to be seen, and I'm gonna show it. That's the things that's happening to boys. They are so terrified of men like me being born and speaking against this fucked up system that's dependent on stupidity, weakness, and comfort. I make people uncomfortable. Yeah, protect all women? No, protect these children from these women. All this stuff that these females be complaining about that men doing, these chicks is doing to children. So, yeah, that's the presentation. I'm a content creator. We have presentations over here. That's what I wanted to show. I know there's a lot of drama going on. Some people that's going to get their ass handed to them in a short period of time. Yeah. Drop the link for y'all. Anybody that want to hop up. Yeah, it's about the children. You're absolutely right, Lauren. It's about these babies giving us opportunity. We had our chance. We had our opportunity to be innocent, and we got to give them the best opportunity. It's fatherhood is the most amazing thing in the world. There's nothing in creation like it. I learned a lot, man, and I'm still learning a lot about what am I, who am I, what human beings are. You know what I'm saying? And it's the most precious thing in creation, man. I appreciate it. And these babies just are amazing, man. They're just. My son is the greatest human being I've ever met in my life. I've never met anybody like him before in my life. And they show you parts of you that you couldn't reach. And it's an amazing process. An amazing process to be a part of. And I just don't understand how a person can look at those little faces and want to hurt them. I just don't get it. Like, really want to hurt them. I can get being upset and irritated by their behavior. Because children are irritating. You know, they're trying. But I don't get it, bro. I can't relate with the mindset of slapping these babies and hurting these babies. You know what I'm saying? I just don't get it. I don't understand. I never had it in me to just abuse somebody smaller than me. But again, when I was born, I had a lot of girl cousins. You be clear. My girl cousins have never done anything to me. They all would love me to be. So I don't even have a way where I would hate women, because they all took fucking care of me. They all made sure I was involved. They all of them. The ones older, the ones younger. So there was a lot of girls I was around. But my dad's side, it was, you know, my brother and them, my cousins and them, I was always with them. But the age gap between me and everybody else was severe, like at least 5 years. So I've always followed the bigger children. And I always treated them, little children, how they treated me. You know what I'm saying? How my older cousins treated me. So I've never looked at a little person and be like, oh yeah, I really want to kick your ass. So to look at a baby and want to punch it, and throw it and hit it with a fucking broomstick or when stitching cord, and then tie his hands up and throw him in a fucking pool is crazy. How you that bad and you live somewhere where a pool is fucking retarded to me. I don't even get that. I don't even understand what a baby could do to cause you to want to do shit like that. Or the shit that we see. Fuck you, bitch, get out my face. I don't even get how you could say that to somebody with your face. And sometimes my son get on my nerves. Yeah, they get on your nerves. But I'm like, come on, man. That's my... Like now, where I have him, I let him do his thing, because he's been up under me most of his freaking life when he was little. I just let him do his shit, man. Let him rock, do what he do. I don't smother him. He'll type person. He'll just stop playing, come where he is, and just come give me a hug. Dad, I miss you. You know what I'm saying? So we have that type of relationship, and it's an amazing process, man. And it's an amazing process. I work hard on self-development. Like I said earlier in the stream, I spent about 68 to 72% of everything I made between probably like 18 to 25 on my self-development and self-education. And it don't compare to being that. Like, you learn so much more about yourself, and you get to be a part of that process. And that is the place, man. That's the Super Bowl. I've been trying to stress to young men. That's the Super Bowl, bro. When you got your little boy in there learning, you got your little girl in there learning, that's it. That's the World Series. That's the NBA Finals. That's Game 7, 5 minutes left. That's it. That's the moment right there. It ain't nothing else. That's it. That moment when they got your attention, or you got their attention, and they're learning, that's the Super Bowl. That's where everything great is happening, man. My nigga, like, it's the illest shit ever in life. And we wanted to be all these other things and impress these other people, but that's the biggest impact you're gonna make. Is your little person, or some little person that has bought into you, like I did with my goddaughter. Whether this person is a good person or not depends on you as their leader. How you treat them, who and what you are outside of their sight. That not being addressed, that not being stressed, is the true cause of all the inadequacies that we see in people and in relationships today. It starts by having a poor identity of what's valuable. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things to get into, but I'm stressing that Again, I can't say it enough. If and or when, if and when, or I should say it this way, we cannot expect a harvest if we allow all the seeds to be corrupted and tainted. All of these conversations are mute. This is the cause. This is the true value of the conversation. This is the truth. This is the causation. How we protect children. Y'all want the immediate gratification of it being you getting out of things, it working out for you, you getting married. No, that is not what's important. You will change as you participate in the preservation of innocence. Something will be, you will be rewarded for that as well. You wanted to be all of these, I gotta prove this bitch wrong. There's none of that. When we focus on and dial in on providing an environment to protect children from the sickness, like they say, we don't condemn a dirty glass, we just put a clean one up and let the people decide. People will come where it makes sense. The other shit just real loud, and it's just a lot of them. That's all. There's no substance to them. Ain't nothing coming. All those different conversations about relationships, this is the foundation of these relationships, is how much your innocence was preserved. How integrated is your identity with value? You know what I mean? And shout outs to the people that participate in preserving the innocence, participate in mentoring children and understand how important that is. And the people that deal with the back end on trying to help people get their mind right. It starts with identity. It starts with, like I said, it starts with identity. It goes on from there for you to apply that. You being the person teaching the identity, preserving it, and for the person whose identity being preserved, to where we can see tangible, actionable, applicable information being used. Not just fluffing stuff to sound cute. So we got two people in the back. Appreciate y'all coming up. We got Just Jay and Unica. What's going on?
Hey, good day, everybody. How y'all doing?
Good day.
Yeah, what's going on?
I just wanted to tap in and support right quick. Support the message and support the live and what you're doing. It's a tough pill, but yeah, you gotta take your medicine. So at the end of the day, I spoke about advocacy maybe last week or so, and I was, picking the brains of the people in the chat and stuff and asking what they thought, would help contribute to, like what things we could do that would help better advocate for children. I've been saying it for a while now. I truly believe that value systems have to align for people to really truly see the importance of protecting the innocent, right? And so I guess the things that I ponder on and I meditate on is how can we influence value systems, right? Because if a person doesn't understand the importance of protecting the innocence, like you said, if you corrupt the seed, what do you get from that, right? And so yeah, for me, it boils down to value systems and understanding the importance of protecting children. Everybody has had their chance. Everybody has had their time to talk. Everybody has had their movements, right? But there isn't a consensus, a collective movement, like in regards to children. So, yeah, I just wanted to come up and support and
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that one. I was muted, but I was agreeing with you the whole time.
Yeah,
but you hit the nail on the head with that. We've had all of these talking points. What's going on, Marie? There are all these talking points, but there's been no consensus on what to do with children. Everybody else just trying to get themselves something because these people are the same children we're talking about. They're just 20, 30, and 40, and 50.
Yep.
These people, the stuff I'm doing right now is for them, but they don't understand that. And that is what the young lady, if you watch that part, was talking about in terms of her identity. It's easy to compartmentalize it when you triumphed over it, right? To go, yeah, when I was this age, I was out using my body as a weapon to get back at somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Triumph
over it. But if you're in the middle of it and you're still 47, or you 51, or you 33, or you 25, and you know everything, you're still an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And admit it. You know what I'm saying? And that you can recognize these things. I don't see in real life. If I was to talk to 90% of these people in real life, I swear on my life, 70% of them will cry within the first 5 minutes of talking to me. I know how to kill the bullshit. I go about things in a certain way for a certain reason, but I know how to hit people home because I've watched it so many times. I've had so many conversations. I know what's going on. But when you begin to be honest about these situations, about what's going on in their soul, when you watch evil, right? When you watch somebody that is innocent be destroyed, you're reminded when you were innocent, you were destroyed. Even if it's just a regular bullying situation.
Right.
Even if it was a situation where you really had a good question, you wanted why I asked your mom, your grandma, your granddad, your uncle, your big brother, and you were shunned off and shushed in silence. You're reminded. And what happens is people get triggered by that. And they use false compensation, like I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
These things aren't being addressed. And now those things transmute into manosphere, sisterhood, a Cynthia G, an angry man. And these facades and characters are on, but the real problem is not being addressed.
Well, I find it interesting that you when you talk about that, a lot of times people don't identify with their triggers in a healthy way, right? And in order to identify with them in a productive or healthy way, like you first have to desensitize them, right? And so that's where the whole self-development, personal internal work comes in, right? But once you get to that place where you can desensitize it, then you have a better plan of attack. Like even though you're in a state of passion, right? When you see certain things and you trigger, you can still be effective and still add value to a conversation in the midst of that, right? But what I find happens is when people are triggered by things, and I could just use this space for example, right? When people are triggered by things, it's usually demonized, right? Or it's usually a point to laugh and poke and say, oh, look, you hella triggered, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you could tell they got issues, you could tell they got this, oh, you could tell what they went through. But ultimately, right, to me, my triggers remind me of my humanity, right? Mm-hmm. If I was to the point where I was no longer triggered by anything, right, whether it be productive or unproductive, you have lost humanity. That's just a personal opinion, right? So when we respond to things, I never want to get to the point where I'm comfortable, right? I never want to get to the point where I am okay with not responding to egregious things in the world.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to tap in, show some support. I'm gonna let y'all have it, and I'm gonna go ahead and drop down. I might pop back up. I don't know.
Okay, you're welcome. Appreciate you for coming up. Unica, what's going on?
Hey.
How you doing?
It's a lot that I want to say, but
Go ahead.
I don't think, because I could go on and on, but I'm gonna just say a couple things. But I would say you're alright to just like be true and like nurture your emotions, like, because people just say don't care or whatever. Like, I don't want to be that person, like, just cold, man. Like she was saying, just like detach or whatever. Like, I care, but it's also having boundaries, or it's like putting you in a box, like, where you can't just like feel. Like, I'm true to my, like, I know, but it's the way you do it. It's all about control, like you were saying, knowing when not to. But I've been speaking about what I've been through. It's not like I don't say anything about abuse, because you heard me from time to time. I come on your platform and other platforms I go on and I speak. But Abuse is no joke, and it's still happening. But it's not a lot of people speaking on it. It's just a very few. So you're going up against a whole bunch of people that don't like talking about it, and then a system that is with the shit, like, and then if you speak up about it, they demonize you, or they call you crazy, or they say something is wrong with you. They want to label you with problems and stuff, because it's like silencing you.
Well, the thing, a lot of times, what you're getting is you're being silenced and demonized. What that person doing is self-soothing. That person they have a mechanism of dismissiveness that they're trying to preserve. They only know how to survive by dismissing the information. They only know how to survive by not addressing it, by compartmentalizing it and limiting it to their understanding and their willingness. Because your willingness has a lot to do with what you're able to, your pain threshold, what you're able to deal with. If you're willing to do more, you automatically expand your pain threshold. When their willingness to deal with it is low, and you brought something up that they don't have on schedule and they don't feel like dealing with, you've just interrupted their day internally. So they have to attack you. It's like some wicked fight or flight response. They got to attack you to feel like they're preserving themselves.
But the stuff is happening. Like, it's the truth. I get it. People don't like to face the truth. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to acknowledge it. I get it. But still, it's like it's not enough of us speaking up about it or doing something to stop. It's like a big old massive mountain or whatever that is. It's not enough of us. And you see how many people's in the chat now on your channel.
Mm-hmm.
And where this kind of conversation needs to be heard is, and those chats that have thousands of people. I get it's a small number, but like I said, this kind of message, this topic needs to be like on Sharon's channel, like the number of followings he have, or DJ Hamp's channel, without people coming to attack you, bully you, or all this other stuff.
It's always going to be more people at the rock concert than it is at surgery.
Right.
Or the Cardi B concert. This is channels for people that think and that they get it and that want to move forward and want solutions in real life.
Right.
See?
But you're talking about is these kind of conversations need to be out there.
Yeah.
There's not enough of us.
Well, there's enough. There's enough of us. It just takes time. Okay, that's all. It just takes time. It'll happen when it's supposed to happen, meaning when we put in enough effort, and then like what we're talking about, it's a process. It's not quick.
Yeah, I know, but this stuff has been going on for years. Years and years.
But people are into new. People want the new. People don't want they want to run from things that's been wrong for years. They're not equipped to deal with this. There's not a lot of me's out here. There's nobody else in this space like me at all. So they're not equipped to have the conversation. I am. You know what I'm saying? None of the people you mentioned can have these conversations. And when I say have them, not have a panel and just have a topic, but produce results. Anything that you have a conversation about, anybody in that chat, I'm going to get you results because I'm good enough to do that. I do it in real life. I know how to help you fight through trauma of any type. I'm that good. I can help you get through it. You understand? Some other channels have that. They can't do that. They don't have the living experience. I grew up in an assisted living home. I've dealt with autistic people. I've dealt with terminal people. I've dealt with people with mental illnesses, and I've protected all of them. I've done it in my life. I have that skill set. Next to nobody has that skill set, especially not men. You understand? So, dealt with rape victims. I've been a nigga to put my hands on people that didn't hurt other motherfuckers in real life. So, everybody's not equipped for that. So, you're not going to see that in the mass because that skill set and that character level and that mindset is not normal. Like the loops, the mental loops that happen in trauma, and I can help people through that. Other people can't. So I really don't want them to have these conversations because they're not fit to have these conversations. They don't have the skill set for it. That's the other part. You know what I'm saying? It needs to be out. It needs to be talked about more, but it only needs to be done and talked about more by qualified people. And it needs to be done genuinely. See, when this becomes a fad and this becomes popular to talk about, then they'll do it, Unica. Then that's going to be a problem.
But I don't want to be based off of popular. I want like a lot of people that's genuine, that like is really out here wanting to do it and get this shit done and have the skills and the heart to do what needs to be done. Like, it's a small group of people, or very few, that actually understands what's going on, what's wrong, and what needs to be dealt with. Like, I get the process, but like I'm saying, how much longer? Because it's been, I get the new or whatever, but it's been going on. Like, is this enough? You know?
Yeah. Well, I've been here for 3 years saying the same shit over and over and over again. I haven't changed not one time.
Because people look at it as like, when you speak of this, if they want to silence you or they want to pick at you, bully you, but you like, only the strong will survive this. Because I get why people that can't handle it, they take themselves out or they go to drugs or whatever. But this is literally only for the strong, because the weak ones they're not gonna make it, man.
Yeah, there's no this type of conversation, and I've said this before, this is for humans. Most people are just consumers. All they know how to do is consume opportunities like this, consume conversations for how the conversation makes them feel. And that's all they know. These conversations don't pay dividends for a consumer because of how it makes them feel. Because even when you get validated in these conversations, it still requires you to work. And that work is heavy. None of that feels good. So when your life is just about, I just want to feel good, I just want to feel good, I just want to feel good, this not the type of conversation they're going to gravitate to. They'll go to all those other channels for the feel good. A lot of them be going to those channels to get their lick back. I'm not looking to get my lick back. I'm not demonizing not one person. I'm talking about what happens and who's doing it and who's doing it the most and who needs to stop.
Hey, I'm back. So, in regards to talking about the issues, right? So you have okay, so on social media, as y'all know, there has to be conversations, right? So then we move from conversations to doing. You have people that talk, right? And talking isn't doing per se, right? So when we have these platforms and we come together, the whole conversations about certain things, it's important to keep in mind that it's ultimately about alignment, right? And that was something I had to accept for myself, right? Like, if people don't align with that same thought process, it doesn't matter if you get on a panel or have a conversation on a channel that has whatever numbers, right? That has the big numbers. I'm not like, this ain't about, pointing out anybody, but you can have the conversation, right? But what happens is, as you've seen many a times, Unica, and I'm sure World Class has seen it, it becomes a circle jerk, right? And so when you talk about something as sensitive as this, as something that runs as deep as this does, you're gonna have a lot of resistance, right? Because when it comes to things of this nature, this is something that challenges a person's identity, right? So we was already talking about identity, right?
Yeah.
And a part of the culture, right? The whole culture of Black people when it comes to child abuse, right? Beating our kids, fucking them up, caving their chest in. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you bet not cry. Like I'm finna cave your chest in, but you bet not cry. Like this is a
That's a fact. No, talk about that. Yeah, go ahead.
no. This is a culture, right? And so people don't want to have a conversation, and you have to be honest. You have to be transparent, right? I've said many times, and I don't know if you have heard me talk, Unica. I've said before that I regret putting my hands on my child.
And
I
I
regret
told you
putting my
I
hands
get
on my
where you're
child
coming from. I
because
know
it's
how
out
that
of
feels.
right. And so my thing is, people are not. What I'm saying is, a lot of people don't have that level of transparency, right? And so when they say bring shame back, shame work, shame don't work, right? That's why you can't shame a person like me. You understand? Because I'm very well in touch with myself. So when you have people like this, right? They're not going to be willing to have the conversation because you're challenging their thought process. You're challenging how they do things, right? These the same, and I've had this conversation many times. These the same people that say we got to do something different, right? What we doing ain't working in the community, but they're not willing to try something different that's backed by science, right? That's what's funny to me, right? These same logical leaders, and I ain't trying to get on my soapbox, but these same logical leaders are not willing to try something that is backed by science. But you got an emotional woman like myself, right? And I'm just using the talking points, right? A quote unquote emotional woman like myself can see how something like this can be productive, how exploring something like this can be of good use, can be effective, right? But these people who are of logic refuse now, right? The same people that quote statistics all the time, listen, I'm trying not to cuss. The same people that quote statistics all the time, all of a sudden science don't fucking matter. Yeah. And so that's the bullshit that I be talking about in the space, but it requires a level of transparency. It requires courage. It requires bravery. And a lot of people not built like that. A lot of people not built like that because these niggas ain't cut from the same cloth.
Amen.
So, it's just frustrating because I just hear a lot of talking. I don't hear a lot of honesty. I just hear a lot of fucking talking, like, and I'm a talker, right? People know me, know I'm a talker, but I value honesty above all. Mm-hmm. I would rather, if I came on these panels and couldn't be transparent, couldn't be honest, couldn't speak with a level of conviction, I would shut the fuck up. I would not speak. Because but I also understand that that's me, right? I understand everybody ain't built the same way, but it's frustrating because you have people who talk about leadership, but they won't even get behind other men who talk about protecting children, and so that within itself is weird, right? Even if you decide, hey, I still think it's okay for me to spank my child, right? On a psychological level, right? Or based on talking points, right? They talk about advocating for other men. They talk about sticking up for other men, right? Uplifting other men. But then you have men, which is a small amount in the space, right? That are about protecting children, and they do it with a level of vigilance, right? That's unmatched. They unwavering. There's a very small handful, less than 5 that I could think of right now. And those same men, right, are not supported nor uplifted by the same niggas that talk about they advocate for other men. And so for me, it just be the bullshit. I'm just one of them people. I just don't do good with fake shit. So it just annoys me, But they don't want to have the conversations. Like I was saying before, Unico, I want to go back to that. But like I've been very transparent. A lot of these stories I hear, I ain't never took no extension cord and beat the shit out my child or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely have roughhoused my child and handled my child in a way that was not suitable nor okay for a grown person to handle a small child. Listen, there was times I sat down and I cried because I felt like a whole fucking bully. But guess what? I was a fucking bully. People don't want to be honest. I just don't do good with liars. I don't do good with people who don't value honesty. There is no way you can be as big as you are as an adult, right? Go in on your child. We ain't talking about you just pop them because they were finna walk in the street. We ain't talking about nothing like that. We talking about going in on your child, unleashing your frustrations of the day or whatever the hell you got going on, unleashing your internal crap, right? On a smaller child, but then I'm gonna try to mask it as I'm doing this for your own good. Get the fuck out of here. People gotta stop lying, and that's the shit that annoys me. They will have a panel and talk for 5-6 hours about why they did. First of all, listen, listen. Even at the times when I did it, y'all, it was because I lacked impulse control. I lacked the ability to cope with my shit. It wasn't that what my child did was so egregious. And again, y'all, I wasn't beating my child with extension cords and drop kicking them off the floor and all this kind of shit. It wasn't none of that. But I still was a fucking bully. Because I didn't, so if that's the case, then you go outside and you hit somebody in the mouth. You hit a grown person in the mouth on GP because they said some shit you don't like.
Amen.
This the shit I get tired of. People be fucking lying. So because I lack impulse control, I lack the ability to contain and control myself. And like World Class said, yeah, kids are annoying. Guess what? They doing that's their job. Right. Their job is to be explorers. Their job is to be inquisitive, to be curious, to get into shit, to see how shit works. My oldest will tear some shit up. I'm talking about he'll straight up take it all apart and put it back together. That's their fucking job, right? But because we have our own stuff that we haven't unpacked or we haven't dealt with, right? Then because they're doing their job, we upset with them for doing their job, right? As I got older, I realized, okay, they might have broke the TV. Who give a fuck, right? Now, the old Just Jay probably would have went crazy about a TV, right? But that was because I didn't unpack my shit. Is it really about the TV? People don't want to get to the root of stuff. They don't want to deal with their shit. So when I get up on a panel and I say, at the end of the day, you have to acknowledge yourself. They tell me it's word salad. Go ahead, do your thing.
Were you abused by your parents or beat?
Well, that's what's interesting, Unica. I could count on one hand how many times I was hit by my parents. And it wasn't even no crazy ass beating. This is why I know it's an issue with the culture. Mm-hmm. You understand? Mm-hmm. And so I don't have these conversations in detail, but my parents didn't hit me for every fucking thing. I wasn't hit all the time. My daddy popped me 2 times. One time he popped me on the thigh. You could tell it hurt him more than it hurt me. I could laugh about it because you could tell he didn't want to do it. And then another time he had popped me because I knocked his hats off in the dirt because he had washed his hats. He used to wash his Kango hats by hand and hang them up on the clothesline. And I went to hanging on the clothesline like a little monkey and shake the hats off the thing. And he popped me when I was running off. Them were the only 2 times I got popped by my daddy. And my mama, I got popped with a rainbow color comb. She was combing my hair and I was acting like a fool, which is understandable, right? Because I'm tender-headed and you ripping my hair apart, right? She popped me with a comb, and then I think one time when I was in middle school, she whooped me with a belt because she had to come home from work. Them the only times I could think of my parents hitting me, Unica. So this is why I know it's a culture, because by default you would think that my mom and them beat the shit out of me, right? No, they didn't. That's not to say that I had a perfect childhood, right? Because we all grow up and have different things that we're lacking. That we all have deficits, right? In regards to how we're raised, right? I had my deficits, right? And so that some of those deficits led to me having I dealt with rage, right? But it was an internalized rage and I didn't know how to express it. I didn't have that outlet. You know what I'm saying? Because we usually grew up in households where our emotions, our state of being, whatever we experiencing in that moment is suppressed, right? So this is why I stand by, even whenever I used to spank my oldest, I would still tell him, you feel how you feel, right? Because I grew up in a household where you wasn't allowed to be, who you think you is trying to have an attitude? Who you think you is to be upset, right? We didn't articulate or have a conversation with the child about what you experienced and why you mad, why you upset. I don't tell my boys how to feel. I don't tell my boys what they could be mad or they can't be mad, you know? So to answer your question, no, I didn't grow up in a house where I was beat. This is why I know it's a culture, right? Because it was times where I would like spank my oldest and I'd be like, Jay, that don't even make no fucking sense. Like what you just spanked him for, it don't even like, say for instance, and this just hypothetical, a child wastes some shit on the floor. You done beat the shit out the child for wasting something on the floor. What developmentally speaking, that's why I tell people it is good for all of us to learn about early childhood development, developmental milestones, how the brain work, right?
Yeah.
Because if you look at developmental milestones, right, a child at a certain age isn't going to have the dexterity. They're not going to have the fine motor skills. You know what I'm saying? You done told them to go pour their own milk, right? Because you don't want to be bothered. Go pour your own goddamn milk. They go pour the milk. They waste the fucking milk. Then you beat the fuck out of them. It does not make sense. We have to stop and slow the fuck down.
Yeah, let me hold on real quick.
You got it.
You cooking. Let me acknowledge Next Level. Appreciate you, bro, for the cash app.
We borrowed $20 to the mall.
I love how you addressing the culture. It's a culture of child abuse that's going on, and
It's a cult.
And it's also a cult. Yeah. I think also what we have to think about is we always attribute this to slavery. We have to at some point mention that I think after being whipped, beat, cut up, pulled apart, I think beating the children to learn was probably not a smart idea. I think when we go through trauma and we get hit by a car, or we get hit by somebody, or we in some type of situation and the ambulance picked us up, I don't think they fixed that by continuing to hit us. If we went through so much trauma and so-called slavery, I think the thing that would have been best is us to get the same rest that we would have got if we would have went to the hospital. And the hospitality that we gave each other was anything but.
Absolutely. And you know, World Class, it's a part of me that I think it's a fine line, right? I do think that there's some validity, right? And I have to further explore that because I'm not going to act like I read up on this and stuff like that. And the only reason I think that there's some validity, right, is because of the thought process. When you have oppression, right, we know oppression comes down and then it spreads laterally. And so then you have lateral violence. I do think, though, that people, I think it's something to be explored. Now, how exactly it's connected, I'm not quite sure. So I don't want to speak on it too much, but I do think that it's something that can be explored to a degree, right? Because even when you think about the ways, like when the woman was talking about getting beat with an extension cord, right?
Yeah.
Even when you think about how slaves was beat, they like, you know, just lash after lash after lash after lash, right? The how do I want to explain it? You know what? Let me be mindful. All I'm saying is I think that is something to be explored, but I do think that is that's a fine line that has to be you have to tread it carefully, right? Because people begin to deflect, right? And I know how you deal with things. You're very precise and you're accurate when you deal with things, right? So I know if people go down that road, that'll lead to a rabbit hole. So I think exploring it too much would be more of a deflection, right? And so I think it's something to be said, though. You know, I think it's something to be said about the behavior within itself. I think it comes with a level of lateral violence. But ultimately, it is a culture, right? How the lady was talking and said that they couldn't go outside because then her mama would know that they went outside. Yeah. Okay, but the neighbors obviously was okay with y'all being in the house by y'allself. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the neighbors was okay with not, you know, and I'm not saying one way or another, right? But obviously, they wasn't free to go to their house and eat, right? But these same people could call and say, hey, they was outside.
Especially if the neighbors is knowing.
Right, but they won't even fucking feed them.
Yeah,
at the least.
They know that the kid is going to get beat if they report it, you know, which makes it worse.
But that's insane to me. And my thing is, we know, like World Class said earlier, right? I can't tell you what to do with your kids, but I could show you the consequences. You can experience the consequences, right? So even in that vein, right? The fact that they were willing to tell the mom, hey, they've been outside, but y'all won't even feed the fucking kids.
Mm-hmm.
She out grabbing handfuls of like stuff like that blow my mind. Like even if I can't, and I don't know, maybe because I'm just one of these type of women that if I can't do nothing else for nobody, I feed people. You understand? So maybe that's why I'm kind of stuck on that, because she's outside grabbing handfuls of grass. You can tell her mama that she was outside, but you couldn't give her a sandwich.
Yeah.
That alone just throws me off, you know. But nevertheless, the culture has to be addressed, and I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and do y'all thing. But World Class, I'm definitely looking forward to more conversations like this, and I think that those of us that align with this thought process and with this righteous indignation, right, when it comes to advocating for kids, I think that there's a way that we can have real conversations and bring to the table the issues and see what it is that we can continue to do. Like you said earlier, right? Hey, if you put your hands on your kid again, I'm gonna call the police. Shout out to Sugar Bum. People say what they want to say, but Sugar Bum, listen, I done seen that woman say that I don't know how many times. If I see you putting your hands on your kids, I'm calling the police. And guess what? I believe her. I believe her. You know what I'm saying? But that's what has to happen, right? Because a lot of times we'll turn our head, you know, because I've had friends, yeah, you don't tell me how to raise mine, whatever. Okay, yeah, you right, do your thing, you right. See, but at the same time, let's be clear. There's certain things you're not going to be comfortable doing in my face. And that's the problem. We allow people to be too comfortable. And it ain't just with children. It's with all kind of behaviors. We allow people to be too comfortable. And we got to be able to apply pressure to say, no, you can't do that here. But guess what? That's going to come in order to move into that type of advocacy, that type of energy, right? You have to take a loss, and you have to be willing to take that loss. Okay, so what is it? What is the loss? Is it you being entertained, you being a consumer, right? You getting your little jollies off, you feeling good, you having like whatever it is, right? Like we have to be willing to take that loss, but a lot of people not. I'm gonna go ahead and mute.
Let me say this. I want to address the two things you said. One, you got to think about little girls in those situations, how their instinct was to hide from the neighbors versus retreating to them for safety and going to them for safety. You gotta think about the culture that existed for them to think that what she conveyed versus, oh, I can just go next door and just get something to eat, or we hungry. Which I can say that, right? That easily jumps out my mind because both my grandmothers live right next door to each other. So I'm used to hopping the fence and just going. They don't got what I want over here to eat. I go over here and eat. I'll think about that real quick. Versus these little girls, 3 little girls at least, couldn't go to either neighbor house to get something to eat. And the other thing, yeah, call the motherfucking police. People are so afraid to talk to other black people about how they raise their child. Just how motherfucking tough you are, running your mouth. I can't let a motherfucker not gonna tell me what to do. Sure, you just as loud. Put your motherfucking hands on that child again. I'm going to dial the last one out of 911. Be brave. You that tough, bitch? You that tough, nigga? Touch that motherfucking child again. Watch what happens. I ain't got to tell you shit. You motherfucking ass to be in jail.
You better hope, like, I got to speak on this because I've had experience of the neighbors calling the police numerous of times. And there was some times that she'd make sure that I'm in the tub so they wouldn't come check on me. And then there's other times the police would get called and I'm right there with her in the front room. And they're talking and the police are agreeing with her. Like they're on her side. I'm the one that's getting abused, but the police,
yeah, I know. Oh, no,
they're siding with her. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to see.
No, I got
they are corrupted too.
Yeah,
so not all the time that you call the police, that's going to help.
No. This is how it works. When you're doing something new and they're bombarded with a bunch of new calls, they're going to get tired of it and they're going to do something about it. So I know calling them, because what you got to understand is you're speaking within the same system that I'm speaking against. Well, this is an afterthought. They're bothered by these calls. These calls don't happen enough for them to be given a fuck about them, and they're not going to be rewarded by the government or the state or the federal government, I should say, for it to matter. When they're being bothered like this locally, yeah, they're going to do something about it because they're tired of fucking being bothered. If I had to come the fuck back out here, I'm going to lock you the fuck up. If I got to keep getting 6 and 7 calls about you a week, about what you're doing to your child, your ass is going to fuck to jail. They're that fickle and arbitrary, you can do something about it. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me, man, I'll put it up, put it down. Shout out to Quantum for doing a gift. We got to have our channel niece. Appreciate it, everybody. I got to look back and see who all got gifted. Appreciate you, baby.
Oh, hey, oh, hey. I get ring of love. Oh, the ring of love.
Appreciate you. Yeah, so that's the move for that. It's really not the don't nobody know how fucking incompetent police is in this space like I did. Them niggas are stupid as fuck. But in the end of the day, you have to make a move. And just like you watch these the alphabet community push and make their agenda, you can do the same thing. And to protect the children is what these people are these officials are acting like they're operating on. You can hold them accountable too. They need to be held accountable as well. Start pulling that bond as well. Start showing y'all how to deal with police officers, with law enforcement, with public servants, and forcing them to do their job. They got something called a bond. They're not as tough as you think they are. They got insurance policies that they got to follow. And them insurance companies operate just like your regular insurance companies. And if you're not doing, then they don't think they can insure them, them motherfuckers can't be out there. Judges, police alike, same shit. What's going on, Alexis from Texas? How you feeling, baby? What you got on the topic?
I wanted, give just her flowers for talking about the culture in the way that she just did in the moment, because I don't think I ever really said anything or expressed this in the YouTube circle of people that I've been on, but at the same time, a lot of people are not talking about this, so salute you, World Class, for that.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, Alexis. Thank you.
Yes, because I was about 9, living in Kansas City, and my mom was a Mississippi girl. She came from parents that, if a lot of people know, especially in the South, that beating your kids, like especially the Southern people, they beat their kids almost like a remnant of how slaves got beat, because they feel like really that's more beating their kids is more discipline. Not whooping them is a form of discipline, but beating their kids. My mom came from that. My grandma, my grandma's still alive. My mom isn't, but my grandma, she tried to rectify some of that. But in the culture, being accountable sometimes, as far as the old heads in certain subjects, they don't want to be accountable for it. But anyway, so my mom, she had told me one day, I don't know what it was, man. And then I'm a kid, and I'm the oldest out of 3 girls. I got 10 years on my youngest sister and 8 years on my middle sister. And it was something small. I don't know what had all, I can't remember what had all accumulated, but my mom left to go to her friend's house, and she's like, when I come back, I want you either in the bed or in the tub. And something had happened, and I, with my blanket, and I put it in the dryer. I had my bath water running. So I'm thinking I'm good. I'm like, I got the bath running. I'm gonna get my blanket out the dryer. So I'm sitting there and I'm reading a book. mind y'all, I'm sitting there reading a book while all of this is going. My mom comes in the door. She see me at the table by the dryer, waiting on the dryer, and she just is like, it was almost like she was just like ready, like, didn't I tell you? And I was just like, and I'm trying to explain to her what happened. She's like, no, go in the room. Like I said, y'all, for a minute, she was kind of like, it was stuff going on. So she was just like, I remember her telling me, she was like, I'm going to whoop your behind next time you do something. And this is back in the 90s. We didn't have a cordless phone. So I don't know if y'all remember having that phone, that long ass phone cord. That we used to
I know those phones.
Yeah. So my mom.
My grandma used to have them.
Yeah. So look, here it is. I'm giving y'all the visual. My mom took that cord and she wrapped it down to about a little over her arm's length. And then she took black electric tape and wrapped it all the way around to keep the cord together. And she beat me with it. I went to... It takes a lot to talk about this even now. Like, I'm 30. This happened when I'm 30, about to be 38. This happened when I was 9. And so I went to school and my teacher, she was looking at me and she was like, we had to go to break for something. And she said, Lexus, what's wrong? And the kids were out the class. And I said, Mama, and because I was upset, because I really felt at that time at 9, I was upset that it went like that with my mom. Like, it almost felt like she was excited to beat me with this thing. Like I said, I wasn't outside when she got home playing, messing with some little boy up the street. I was waiting on my comforter to dry because my sister had spilt water on it. And I had my bath water running. Like, I'm in process of all of this. And I'm at the table reading a book. I'm not making no mess. I'm at the table reading a book. And I can't remember all what had went down, but it wasn't a whole lot. I was just a kid. And she just, in my opinion, I told her this before she passed, I felt like she just really wanted to beat me. I don't know what it was.
Uh-huh.
So I told my teacher, of course, told whoever she's supposed to tell. And they took me and my sisters from the home. It was a whole thing. And I was still like under the state of Missouri till I was technically 18. I was with my mom, but still I was like under the state of Missouri. But to speak to what Just Jay was talking about, why I brought that story up, because in our culture, especially in our family, like, they demonize you. Like, I got home after we got out of the foster care, and she just demonized me, like, and tried to make it seem okay. Lexus, you ain't had no whooping in like 2 years. So what the hell? So because I ain't had no whooping in 2 years, you thought to make a weapon to beat me with and feel justified in that? And for years, even for years, up until I was like 24, I remember my mom, like, her and my dad were in therapy, marriage counseling, and my dad told me that she brought that up in marriage counseling, to how she was still hurt because that happened. And I looked at my dad, I said, what? And he was like, yeah, she still hurt about that. You're so hurt that you bringing this up in your marriage counseling with your husband when you did something that was wrong. You didn't discipline me. You beat me.
But Alexis, that goes to
Hold on. Wait. She brings up, she's in marriage counseling with her husband, and she brings up that she beat you with some extension cord that had tape on it.
Not the extension cord, that long ass phone cord.
Oh, the phone cord. Okay, yeah.
That was wrapped in black electric tape. She made this weapon, and she was still hurt that I told the school, and we went through all this stuff with, Child Protective Services and everything.
She was still upset because she was embarrassed.
What? She was upset that you told.
Mm-hmm. You had bruises on you, and she let you go to school?
Yes, ma'am. Hold on. Let me tell y'all this piece. Let me tell y'all this piece real quick. when I told y'all I got home after we came from foster care, and she told me, she said, Lexus, you gave me the kiss of Judas when you left to go to school that day.
I'm sorry you experienced that. I don't want to get away. I don't want to go down. I don't want to get too much into the other stuff. I want to point to the whole thing about protecting parents, right? Because regardless of what people think, right? Children are very protective of their parents, right? Even when their parents are wrong. This is the mind fuck of it all, right? So when you have a parent that is being ill towards you, like it's treating you in such a maladaptive way, in such an unproductive way, in such an abusive way, right? It jacks up the mind, because in your mind you still are holding on to innocence as a child, right? And you want to protect your parent, but at the same time you know within your spirit that it's wrong, right? And then you're further chastised because you was wrong for telling on her. So really, in essence, people in their image, you know what I'm saying? So now you more concerned with your image, because now you quote unquote look like an abusive parent. But if we're gonna really take it there, you are an abusive parent, right? And simply because they did not want to be embarrassed. And that was a part of that whole Stockholm thing that World Class was talking about earlier. But you have some children that have that resolve and that resilience, right? To push through that. You knew ultimately it was not okay. And I'm grateful that you had a safe space to go to. And the fact that she said that to you, like, I'm sorry that was your experience, right? That's a mind fuck by itself. Because it's like, okay, but mommy, you hurting me.
You know
what I'm saying?
And just Jay, like, and it took years of therapy and things, and I reacted in ways because of the way that she treated me.
Understood.
And even having a disdain for my little sisters at one point, because literally she was treating them better than me, making me seem like it was a whole
the conversations, right? They said, oh, you just an older sister jealous of your younger sisters. Shit run deep, and people don't be wanting to break.
It wasn't even that.
That's what I'm saying. It's bigger than that. That's what I'm saying. It runs deeper, because it wasn't because you was just an older sister jealous of your younger sisters. It was the dysfunction that was placed in, like, just when you have siblings and they have sibling rivalry, you know what I'm saying? It is because of the parents and the environment that is created. It's not because a child just want to be malicious and hate their sibling. Like, this person is connected to me. Like, we share the same DNA. This is not something I just came up with. You know what I'm saying? And that's the conversations that I be about. Like, Alexis, like, people have to be honest, but ultimately it's sad because your mother was more concerned with her image and being embarrassed that CPS got involved. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Instead of having that come to Jesus moment, like, this is the moment in my life where I need to realize that I ain't the fucking mother that I thought I was. I need to strip down the illusion, right? And realize that I'm abusive. Listen, I had a conversation with my oldest, right? And I told my oldest, and guess what? We shy away from certain words. Remember when the lady, I don't know if you was here, but the lady on the video, y'all, when they used the word sexual assault, she said, no, I was raped, right? We don't like to use words that don't feel good. When I had a conversation with my oldest, I told him, I say, I was abusive. That was abusive. We all have been abusive in different ways, but we don't like to use the word, right? Because when you say abusive, it sounds like the worst of the worst.
The frequency that's attached to that word.
Exactly, but we won't address the frequency, right? So when you have a parent who is not older, and you have an adult child that go to their parent and say, hey, the way you did me wasn't cool, or they try to have a talk with them, you know, they will minimize, oh, you act like you was treated like a slave, or you was, and then you have the minimizing, you have the deflecting, right? Because to accept the fact that you were abusive is too much, like you too comfortable, and it's too painful for you to accept that fact. So I think that speaks to the cowardice of a lot of people, right? Like, you have to be brave, and you have to have a level of courage to say, hey, what I did was not okay. It was abusive. We don't like to say it don't feel good, right? This is why you have people when World Class, Scam Likely, and a couple other dudes have these conversations. This is why you have such an uproar. This is why you have people hop on panels. Nah, y'all trying to act like we beating the fuck out of our kids. And no, this ain't this is nah, it's abusive.
What I wanted to point out though, right, is that right there is crazy as fuck, Alexis. It's crazy as fuck. It's like it's so much wrong with what happened to you. It doesn't. It's like 90 things running through my brain at one time. The comfort that she had to sit amongst other adults, a person that she's fucking, and some stranger, a professional, mind you, and to articulate that she's hurt, that you, not that she did it, but that you somehow told. This is what's crazy. I don't even know how it happened because you didn't explain how it went from, or at least I didn't hear. I went from it happening to CPS getting involved. The fact that she expected other adults to not say anything, to not even be smart enough to investigate, to make sure you're safe, and to do their job, is what I'm talking about in terms of it being a culture, not just a part of the foundation of Black people. Their culture is child abuse. The foundation of Black people's culture is child abuse.
Wicked. And thank you, Dallas D. Look, I'm letting y'all know I went through a lot as far as fixing myself, to even in making sure how I deal with my children. I'm not acting out of anger or checking myself to make sure that I'm responding in a well way and not just reacting out of being upset. But it went there, like, as far as just I want to also hit on the point that just today said about the sibling rivalry. Like, my mom wasn't she didn't like put me in a situation, like, I would say to an extent she kind of try to make me feel like they were better than me after that situation, but she did do that sibling rivalry, and then I saw her do it between my two sisters, and I had to step in because I'm older and I had to check them. I said, hey, no, y'all ain't doing that. Like, I had to talk in between my mom to keep my sisters from trying to kill each other. And my sisters still suffer from that dysfunction that my mom placed between them to this day. And I still be like, man, and I still talk to them. I still, like, there used to be times I would get upset with them and, like, go off on them because I could see it, y'all. I could see the damage that she put between them. And it would just upset me and hurt me because I didn't want my sisters to be like that.
Right.
Off the fact of my mom. Now, if y'all got beef because of personal issues, y'all don't like the way, you know what I'm saying? But y'all doing this based off of what my mom put in between y'all. And that just, all of it was just a whole lot. Even when I got grown and me moving and doing the stuff that I was doing, I think my mom was upset because she could see me almost bettering myself than her. And she was just, even her mentioning that in the counseling, you know, she was hurt, y'all. Yeah, she was hurt about that fact that I had told. And mind you, like I said, in the culture try to make you feel bad about it. I had cousins. My cousins used to tease me about telling on my mom. Like, I went through it. I made it, but I went through it, man.
You see, like that right there? That's the shit I'm talking about. That's the shit I be losing my shit when people be acting like they don't know what the fuck is going on in our culture. Shout out to Dallas D for the $10 super chat. She said, I've long said it's time we stop protecting those toxic family members, from abusive parents to the molesting uncles. I'm no longer hiding family, quote, family secrets, unquote. The words can't be worse than your actions. Appreciate you, love. I agree with every word you said. It's time to expose all them family members that know and did shit.
$20 to the mall.
That family secret shit, right there at the about in parentheses, that shit is protecting some females, usually a female, maybe niggas too,
their bullshit ass reputation that nobody give a fuck about no goddamn way.
The thing about the world class was funny. You in these spaces, we let everybody, quote unquote, everybody in our business. Like we let everybody in our business when we have conversations about quote unquote black folks, right? But yet we like to hide things like that, like what Dallas D said. We'll hide that and sweep it up under the rug. But we could get on panels and have conversations and let everybody in our business when it comes to black issues. Make it make sense. Like that. This will go to show you, like stuff is just it's crazy out here.
Like if I speak on something, it's just because it needs to be acknowledged. It needs to be brought to light, addressed, talked
But
about.
people can't get over themselves, right? Because it's about them. It's about their level of comfort. It's because it don't feel good to them. And really, at the end of the day, it ain't about you, and it ain't about whether or not it feels good. It needs to be spoken of, like World Class was mentioning earlier, right? What you do isn't your identity, right? So if we can get in that mindset and address behaviors, right? And don't get me wrong, sometimes I have, personally speaking, like in my personal walk, like sometimes I have a hard time separating my behavior from my identity, right? And that's a personal journey, right? But if we can get to a place where we can address behaviors without getting caught up in thinking that that's our identity, I think we'll be more effective in how we approach these type of things.
But it takes work, Jesse J. A lot of people don't want to do the work. That's the thing.
Because they're not honest. They won't be honest with themselves. Like I said earlier, people love mirrors, right? When the accoutrements are all gone, right? The adornments are all gone. The wig, the earrings, the shades, the glasses, the nice clothes. When all that is stripped away, people hate mirrors.
Yeah. You're right. I just anybody listening, I just want to encourage y'all to do the work. It's so much better when you can do the work. I will admit, when my mom passed, I felt, now she could have been holding things, but I felt that I had let a lot go because I had did work and was looking at trying to make sure that I was going to be different. I had a baby like 2.5 years before my mom passed, so I was the only daughter that she was able to experience having a grandchild with, and I'm glad I was able to do that for her. She was really happy with having a grandchild at the time, and I was happy for her in that, and our relationship changed with that. But people got to do the work, and like I said, I had to do the work to be able to, in a moment like now, like I said, y'all talking about it and me being able to come up here and share that story in my face and people be able to see that, oh, Alexis got beat with a phone cord. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it takes a lot to be able to talk about it. And I appreciate World Class having that space to where I felt comfortable to talk about it, and not try to disguise it as if, oh, I had a friend, or nah, this happened to me. And I can talk about it, and I did the work to be able to talk about it and be able to say, hey, yo, that's messed up. And let's make sure that we're not doing the same. My mom came from, like I said, that lineage of black people that felt like they had to beat their kids like the slave masters beat. And I was just like, nah, we ain't doing that when they got to me. And my kids, I have conversations with my kids. I was talking about it I do a show on Saturdays, and I sit there, I talk to my children. I break down logical things to them. It's simple. It's for them to understand. 1 + 1 = 2. Hey, I told you not to do that. You did that anyway. So if mom disciplines you, you should understand because I told you not to do that, right? Right. Exactly. Like, I have those conversations with them. So, I mean, and that takes work.
And I explain real good to my daughter, and I would keep telling her, hey, telling her, and it just builds up, and it gets to a point like get tired of telling her and then have to get on there, and then I'm like the bad person,
Yeah, let me say this is a place, regardless of whatever else I'm doing, this is always a place where people can come and your story can be told and you will be heard. I don't care if your mama did it. I don't care if your granddaddy did it. I don't care if your uncle did it. I don't care if your cousin did it. I don't give a fuck if another YouTuber did it. I don't give a fuck. This is a place where you can come where abuse is not okay, especially child abuse, where you being hit and beat as a child was wrong. Yeah, I was a troubled child. I don't give a fuck if you was a troubled child. That means you have bad parents. Okay, you have a voice here. That shit is wrong. And if the person that you're talking about don't like it, they can come talk to me. Okay. Absolutely. Shout out to Dallas D. Shit like this. Dallas D says, I have a cousin who raped his. No, over here we don't do great. I have a cousin who raped his sister. When he was about to marry a woman, shout out to you for this, with 3 female kids. Amen. I was the singing bird. He's still at me, but my role was to protect those little girls. And that's the fucking mindset that I love. That's why I fucks with her, Dallas D in particularly, because she don't give a fuck about that dumb shit. Fuck that bitch ass nigga. Protect these babies from these fucking creatures. Cousin or not, sister or not, brother or not, mother or not. This is the type of mindset that we need moving forward. And she doesn't even have children.
And her mindset has nothing to do with comfort.
Exactly.
She care less about being comfortable. And it sounds like he's still mad, and she okay with that, because it wasn't about whether or not it wasn't about whether or not he was gonna be mad. Obviously.
That's disrespectful, despicable shit. You fucking raped your own fucking family, and you about to go into another situation, and people sit back and no, nigga.
All them girls, child.
That's dangerous. You could never be at risk. This is an undertone that's fucking powerful, man.
Yeah.
And I can talk about I know a lot of stuff, all of that deep stuff, all of that 3rd dimensional, 4th dimensional, all of that stuff. I know all of it.
I wasn't raped. I was touched. I think it was around 3 or 4. Around that age, my mom, she used to drop me off at my grandma's friend. My grandma's friend's name was Susie, because they both had to go to work. And my cousin's friend that was over there, he looks like Usher. That's how I'll never forget it. That the guy looks just like Usher. He would touch on me, and I felt very uncomfortable. And he would do it a lot when I go over there.
Baby, you were raped. That's rape.
When he touched, he don't have
to penetrate you. No, that's statutory rape. Minimum. That's rape.
Well, I told her as I got older, when I had I think it was around 12, and I know I was a teenager when I brought it to her attention. And she didn't take it serious. Like, she just ignored it, threw it off.
Yeah, that's wrong. It's absolutely positively wrong. And stuff like that, situations like that.
The guy, he looks just like Usher. He could be Usher's twin. Yeah, I'll never forget.
And think about the psychological with that, as far as looking at somebody like, do you listen to Usher? Are you able to separate without any?
I don't listen to Usher's music. I used to. But I don't listen to Usher.
Like, how that correlates, and then for somebody to not believe you.
But I still want to get back to what World Class was talking about, the 3D.
Yeah, I told her, and she didn't take me serious. Like, she
can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, I wanted to get back to what World Class was talking about with the 3D and the 4D. I mean, even the 5D. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could know all that stuff, but fundamentally, right? We got to get down to brass tacks when it comes to this type of stuff. And I just want you to expound on that a little bit more, World Class, because I do think that, like, just setting the tone and creating a firm foundation in regards to protecting the children and returning back to innocence. You know what I'm saying? I think that we can all learn something from that.
Yeah, I mean, everything starts with identity. So, like, my mentor always says this. When I think about these situations, I think about the principles he gave me on, which
it presses upon me and creates the urgency that I have that prompts me to say the stuff that I say and do what I do. He always told me, and this is just about being successful and being a man. He said, success is a process. He said, when you cheapen the process, you cheapen the product. So when I look at what we want to get done and what we claim we want to get done, and I study processes of success, like farming, like how nature works, the most important part is the first part, because you got to start. If you want to lose weight, if you want to start a business, if you want to create an environment and a culture and a project that lasts, you got to mimic the things that last. And the first important part, just like even in science when they're doing experiments, you got to prevent cross-contamination. You have to keep the pace that's necessary, to not too fast, not too slow. I guess that Goldilocks type of environment where you got the right place, the right time situation, and you have to do all the work up front. All the work is done up front. In spring, it's time to till the land so the land can receive the seed. After the land after you do the tilling, that's the most work. That's when the ox is pulling I forgot the name of I think it's like a sled or something called like that. It's pulling the equipment through the soil, grinding up useless soil, pulling up rocks, pulling up things that can impede on the future growth. You got to do all that work up front. Another thing I learned from my mentor, actually another guy that he introduced me to, a guy named Bill Whittle. He said, a lot of people lose because they try to argue with the price. We don't argue with the price. You got to pay the price up front and in full. You paying all the price in the beginning. Again, this is equating to childhood and being a parent. You got to do all the hard work up front. You got to wipe their ass. You got to wipe their nose. You got to cook every single solitary meal. You got to put their arm through every single solitary sleeve, through every one of their pants leg. You got to tighten up each and every one of them Pampers or diapers, however you want to call it. Pampers is the brand. You gotta clean every mess they make up. You got to do all the hard work up front. For anything you want in life, you have to be passionate about the work, and the work is up front. You got to pay the price, because like my mentor said, when you cheapen the process, you cheapen the product. That goes with their safety. I got injured when I had my son because I needed his mother to not be wore out. So every single solitary bag, every time it was time to pick him up, whether I felt good or not, whether I was sleepy or not, I had it, because I had to ensure the safety in the level that it needed to be at. So they're safe and they're competent. She don't injure herself. She not her body not going through pain because she's breastfeeding. I hurt my goddamn self, hurt my fucking back, making sure that they got what they needed, and she was rested. He got out of the rain fast enough. He got out of the bad weather fast enough so he wouldn't get sick. You got to pay the price up front. Every single solitary time I followed the security protocol on to keep them safe and keep him safe. I never took a break off. I never allowed an opportunity for him to be hurt. Nobody watched him but us. He was under the eyeballs of me and his mother, individually or together. The first year by ourselves, no matter what took place. You don't take no break. You don't give no discounts. You got to pay the work. You got to protect the process. Is everything. When you cheapen the process, you cheapen the product. We don't take any breaks. I didn't leave him in the car by himself. I didn't leave him in a room by himself. I picked him up, took him with me. Even now, I'll get his ass, bring his big ass up. If he too sleep, pick his big ass up, take him to the store. You don't take any breaks, but people be looking for breaks. They be into how they feel, and they start to slack off. And then every time you slack off, you put these babies at risk. You want to win or you don't want to win. You want to be successful or you don't want to be successful. If you want to be successful, there's a price and there's a process. And you got to pay the price up front and in full, and you can't cheapen the process. And it's non-negotiable. And it's the same thing with being a parent.
All this super galactic shit you know is great. But if you don't got the foundations and the fundamentals taken care of, it don't motherfucking matter. The sun comes up in the east, it sets on the west. It ain't gonna change no time soon. You got only but so much daylight. Again, going back to tilling in the land, the first process of success that we know, tilling the land in spring. You ain't got but so much sunlight. You ain't got time to be playing and wasting. Implementing dumb shit that don't result in a harvest. Never been proven. Niggas with this deep understanding, deep knowledge in the conscious community of a 1,000,000-year history, you ain't got a 100-year game plan for your family, and your motherfucking operations and the shit that you do ain't gonna yield no harvest. You can't make it to next month, but your mouth running. Blowing and going. Don't know what it take, ain't never seen it through. But you know how that story on Netflix end. How your story end. How this baby's story end when you keep leaving them in the house. Get the fucking fundamentals down. Cut the stupid shit. Know how the fuck it's supposed to be done. See, this is the thing. This is how you know you sick. This is to everybody. If you don't hear the word success and think your first and last name, you lost. Because you are your parent's successor. The word success and the word in you are the same thing. They're not separate. So the process of success process should be verbatim identical, non-negotiable. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you are. You don't know what you come from. But you know super galactic shit and who the fucking who across town. But you don't know fuck all about you. Every conversation about success and you is the same conversation. It's not separate. You are your parent's successor. That's your opportunity. That's your job to be successful. We can know a lot of dumb shit. You can be cute and smart on paper. On the gram. But who the fuck are you when nobody looking? Do you know what you are? Do you recognize yourself when success is being talked about? Oh, they talking about that other shit. I ain't doing that. Every time success being talked about, I'm recognizing me. Because I know where I come from. See, when I was playing the story earlier, I was thinking about me. Terrica, I was like, oh shit, I did that. That's me too. That's what I was saying as I was listening to it, right? As I was reviewing it, I'm saying, hey, that's me. I'm looking for me. But yeah, that's me. That's a part of my story. I'm there. I ain't got this, but I got that. When I hear success, I hear me. I hear my mother and my father. So like he said, success is a process. It's a process to come from. You got to understand where you start. Think about it. It's powerful. Where did you start? You started as a thought in your mama and daddy head of, hey, I like her. Hey, that nigga look good. He look like he got a big dick. She got a fat ass. I want some of that. He looks smart. That's who the fuck you, that's where you come from. You come from that. That's the start of your existence. Because man is not the body or the soul. Man is the spirit. Them eggs probably wasn't in position when your mommy and daddy left. Probably wasn't in the same sperm cells when when your mommy and daddy met. But who you are is those thoughts. That's what you come from. Did you know that? You that. That resonance that he had, that daddy had when he seen your mama, that's you. People don't know their process. You don't know you don't know success. Once you get the fundamentals down, everything else is easy. Because I'll never know who I am. You are the product of your parents' thinking. That's how you're here. That's how powerful thoughts are. And you can now touch your leg. You are a thought. That leg that you touching, that car that's being moved by your hand, the food that's being cooked was a thought in your parents' mind. That's how that started. But your process is figurative and literal and measurable. Process is everything. That's what the WIT series is for, whatever it takes. Hella high water. Because I know what I came from. I was just a thought my daddy had when he seen my mom. Or a thought in the returning thought of my mama when she seen my daddy. That's where I come from. I come from God's stuff. And I'm going to return to God's stuff. I focus on the process. And I know if those thoughts weren't protected, you got to think, right? Just like a child, They've nourished them thought processes. So yeah, I'm still gonna fuck him when I see him. I'm still gonna fuck her when I see him. They nourished that. They protected those thoughts. That's why the fuck I'm here. I mean, people's lives I've changed. I mean, how much diseases I've prevented in people's lives. So had they not got protected when I was a true infant in their mind, that wouldn't have happened for people. That's why it's important to protect babies. Because any one of those thoughts can be a leader. Any one of those thoughts that you have in your mind be the next Messiah, at least in your family and in your household. It's very important. I'm not just protecting these children. I'm protecting and respecting myself and what I come from. Respect the craft. That's why I say it at the end of my sayings. That's the craft. That's the vessel by which I got here. All of creation is the craft. Your body's the craft. Your mindset, the way you think, is the craft. You are a literal thought. The word man means one who thinks. The plural men, M-E-N, means to think. That's the process. So we can know a lot of cute stuff. You understand the fundamental. Understand the foundation. One of the things the girl said, one of the things that she said in the video about her success is how well she used what she had. The stewardship of over little things, a little bit of shit that she had. That's what changed everything for her life. I treated thought just like that. Like I always say, I treat children like they entire human beings that just happen to be little at the same time, because they are the same thing that I am. And that's what identity allows you to do. Little me's at different parts and processes. That's all they are to me. They me. We ain't no different from nothing else. The cells in your body, they're just tiny little human cells. That's all. And God rewards those of us. The universe rewards those of us that protect the innocent. It's a special place. In heaven and on earth. So yeah. One second. Water. It's not a thing that a lot of people are fit for. It's not a rewarding thing. It is it's an integrity thing. It's a I gotta live with me thing. To say what I say and do what I do. I can get on here, be cute, be funny. I do got some lives and I'm just gonna be reviewing like joke shit, like funny things. I've been compiling them. I got like 60 of them, and we'll do those too, but this is more important to me. I could have addressed all the drama on Saran channel, his brother, his cousin, and all that. This is more important. That with the lady fucking killing a little boy, that needs to be seen and needs to be talked about, because that is what's decaying our society, decaying our relationships. Shit like that not being addressed. And what's going to change is, what's going to change everything is the intelligence standard being raised. Go ahead, Unica.
I'm just saying a lot more people need to speak up about this.
I agree. There's just certain places that don't need to and are not because they don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to piss people off and trigger people at the same time. But yeah, we want them to be qualified and we want them to be genuine when they do it. That's all. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I did. Huh. I thought I did that. Crazy. All right. Just Jay, Alexis, y'all here? Oh, Alexis, you here?
Yes, this is like I said earlier, I appreciate you. I was late to the party, but I appreciate you talking about these types of subjects. I really do. And man, it's a lot, and I want to do my part. And another point to where I, even when I have conversations, I try not to be on the same as what it seems like is being talked about in the space so much, especially amongst people that look like me. I'm just not with that. It's a lane for that, and all of those that are doing that, if you're doing it and you having success or fun with it, go ahead. But I think there's a lot for people that are speaking out on these uncomfortable conversations, because if we keep those to the back, we're going to keep repeating the same stuff that we all are up here talking about that we don't like.
Cyril, what up? I agree with you.
One thing that I know is karma. Karma never misses.
Yeah. Just Jay, you there? She might step away. She got the baby. All right.
So even
I'm
when
sorry,
you're
I'm here. I was looking for my spatula. Okay, yeah. So I appreciate the conversation. Thank you for having me up here. And I look forward to having more conversations. I think it's important. And I trust that those who align and those who have some type of unction, you know what I'm saying, bravery, awareness, those things, those are the things that matter, and that's what is going to have people gravitate towards these conversations. So,
Mhm.
and I appreciate y'all sharing y'all story. I appreciate y'all transparency, and that's all I got for now.
Appreciate you. If you definitely about to shut down, Unica, you got any last thoughts?
I was trying to say is we can address and we can keep talking about the conversation and everything. That's good, but no matter what, you can't stop time, and people gonna pay. What you put out is what you get, and karma don't care how she hits. Justice is justice.
Absolutely.
It is.
Quick question, Alexis, do you have a channel? I heard you say something about talking about something. Do you have a channel?
Um, I mean, I have one technically, but I do shows on Black Man Unfiltered every Saturday.
Okay,
Called
got you.
Buying Things.
Okay,
So
awesome. All right, just wanted to check. All right, cool.
appreciate you.
Absolutely.
All right, ladies, I'm gonna drop y'all down, close out. I appreciate y'all for coming up.
Oh, one more thing,
Okay, one more thing.
and this is to you, world. Are you? Because I feel this way. Like I know that women they are wicked. Not all of them, but when you speak, I feel you more saying women are more wicked than the men are, and the men are wicked too. Like I see, it's just the scale is like a balance. It's not one more than the other. But are you saying in a way that, because it's not only this topic, but I heard you on other times. Yes, I know, because even my mom was what she did to me, and I don't even like calling that lady my mom because she don't even deserve that. But it is what it is. But daddy wasn't around either, and still to this day he has resentment towards me. So it doesn't make him any better either.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, we're just dealing with what actually is going on, right? So it's not generally just men and women. I'm operating with a different knowledge base, I should say distinct knowledge base. That knowledge base is knowing what the other side is doing, and they are using women more than they're using men.
Okay.
So I a whole
So
lot.
they're using women to be more the face of their wickedness than the men?
Not really the face, just the operation.
Oh. But you do acknowledge that men are
They're
just as
using the
wicked.
men. They're using the men as the face,
and they're using, but they're operating through the women. That's what they're doing. That's how Satanism works.
Right.
Yeah, and there's another thing with this balance thing. It's not balance, it's harmony. So they have demonic.
But I don't like using harmony either because the word harm is in harmony. So I don't really like using that word either, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that one. That doesn't mean, the word harmony doesn't mean harm. Combinations of tones pleasing to the ears. Yeah, the foundation is fit together. Foundation, the root word of the word is harmonia. Means agreement, chord of sound. Means of joining. Like the root
Yeah, I
word
can join, but you know the words have cast the English language.
Well,
So like I said, the word harm is in harmony. If you break down the spelling words. So I get what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from. Not understand. I understand you. Yeah.
That's again, like this is why I tell people to understand the etymology of the word. So when you understand the origin of the word, the frequency,
Yes.
It can't, like time can't, you can't go back in reverse. It only means what it means. So you hear the word harm, but like I said, harmony is both of them. It's evil, like evil and good work together no matter what. Everything has evil in it, everything has harm in it. Do you know that the word smart means pain? Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
So even the things that are good also have things like that in them. That's the part. So I'm saying harmony because that aspect of balance means to end something.
Well, it does make sense, but I mean, because you can express your pain through art.
Exactly.
Because the word art isn't smart too, so.
Yes. So balance is what you get at the end of something.
Yeah, euphoria. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're looking at that dynamic,
But how I identify the word harmony, I'd rather say I go by tranquility. So yeah.
But harmony is specific.
I look at it that way.
Harmony is something very specific. It's actually a really good word. But when you're looking at the question you ask, who are men wicked to? Yeah, men are wicked too, but it matters what's going on right now. It's like being in the middle of winter, right? And you're going, and it's a blizzard, but you're going, it'd be sunny too. Yeah, it's sunny too, but it's a blizzard right now. Right now, yeah, cool. It could be sunny and warm, but right now, this is where it's at. So things could change later. Men were more wicked before, but right now, when you have 649 children being deleted a day, it's about the focus on what women are being used for right now, willfully. And once particularly why they're prioritizing my speech is because they're hurting children. People prioritize men because men hurt women. But I think the children are more innocent than the women. So that's why I prioritize.
Of course, the kids are more innocent.
Yeah. So that's why I prioritize.
I mean, not unless they're demon, baby, because kids can be wicked too. I've met some demonic children.
They exist too. But it's not to ignore, so we're clear, it's not to ignore the wickedness of men. I don't do that. You can look on my channel and see I address these niggas on a consistent basis.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, acknowledge that they are just as wicked too. Because it's not really about identifying the skin color or if it's a female or man, because wickedness can come in all shades, shapes and shades, sizes. Yeah.
All right, sugar. I appreciate you for coming up. I'm about to close out. Thank you, love. I hope you have a good.
World, salute.
Definitely. I like when you come up. They be worried. Oh, she up there? She just rambling? No, this is what you need to hear. It happens. People are hurting, and people need a voice, and that's what I'm here for. I'm a leader. I don't care what anybody else is doing. People have opportunity to speak. People are hurting, and I'd rather you be up here with somebody qualified that can help you than you not being hurt at all. You or anybody else. You understand? That makes sense.
Yeah, I said I've always dealt, been quiet, dealing with pain and silence.
Yeah.
Now I'm in the area of like speaking up more.
I appreciate
I've been silenced majority of my life, so yeah.
Yeah, I have too. I've been there too. I told myself it was okay because I was strong. I was wrong. It wasn't okay. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate you speaking up and whatever work you did to allow yourself, allow yourself out and give yourself permission to speak up. And that's a big deal. And especially you say you had a daughter, you got a little
Yes,
girl.
I have a daughter.
Awesome. See, that puts more emphasis on it. And you have, I'm here. You definitely can always hit me up. Let me know if you got something on your mind. And there's definitely women in this space. Like you had the 2 women that was up here, Quantum that's in the chat. The women will support you. There are good women that aren't like your mom. Just like I had to learn. There's good women that's not like my mom. That will give you confidence and faith.
Yeah.
In women. So I appreciate you. And I'm, definitely, like I said, I'm here. You good?
Yeah.
All right. Take it. You have an awesome day.
You too.
Peace. All right, y'all. I know what I say, man. I appreciate everything that everybody has came up and contributed. Like I said, man, I know it's tough. I've had a lot of conversations with people and the abuse that they went through. It take a lot. It take way more than you think it did. When they were little, people like to fluff it off, and these conversations, dismissiveness is at an all-time high. But if you have never solved a problem inside you internally, it ain't gonna get fixed just buying a new car or getting 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's not how it should work. Shout out to y'all that protect children. All of y'all that protect children, and nobody will ever know. You don't even want to, take credit for it because it's a weird situation anyway. Shout out to the sister Terrica. Dope ass story. Please go in the description and watch the full video. Link up with her if y'all want to do real estate. She seems like she knows what she's doing. She passionate about it. And I think she's from New Orleans or Louisiana, if not from New Orleans, but Louisiana. And she said something about Katrina, so more likely she's from there. I think I kind of heard the accent, but when people get their work voice on, the accent got to go away a little bit. So shout out to Unica that came up, Just Jay, Alexis from Texas, Next Level, the Super Chat, Dallas D, everybody that been through, hit the like button. Everybody's watching on the replay. Make sure y'all share it out. Somebody that is going through it, let them know that there's a person here that got their back. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that they can talk to on or offline. Definitely got the email that's in every one of my lives. My email is there. So you can email me. Every one of my lives in the description is also my IG. Hit me up, private message. I'm here for you. I don't charge for no consultation or anything I talk about. I just don't. It's not that I shouldn't. I just don't. I just want to do my part. I don't think people can pay me to do my job. So, like I say, man, it ain't but 2 classes on this planet, never been 3. You're a world class, you outclass. And the question is not which class you want to live in. The question is which class do the ones coming behind you deserve for you to die in? On your feet, on your knees, respect the craft. Noble.
All right. I'm sorry, I got lost in a train of thought of just all that goodness I just heard. Washed.
Like we weren't supposed to come up with something this clean. Like something happened.
We didn't do this because we like you. We did this because we are you.
Boom, the world class.